Zeke, deadlifted an entire frozen turkey over his head and held it aloft for 3 full seconds. The latest demonstration of the pint-sized muscle man's almost inhuman abilities comes on the heels of multiple accomplishments involving incredible displays of speed, strength, and endurance. Over the past 4 months alone, Sartinsky cleared the 3-foot chasm between his brother's bed and his own, beat his fully grown Uncle Scott in a foot race, and threw a tennis ball clear onto the roof of his 2-story house.
Pound for pound, I honestly don't think there's a stronger boy on earth. Have you felt his muscles? They're like solid rocks.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Unafeared here and declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of FreedomsWithAs, FreedomsPhoenix.com. Ooh, that was a good one early. Man, all right. Today's going to be a really big shoe. In the third hour, we have Dr. Judy Mikovits. We're going to plague the book, The Plague of Corruption. Is the next one she's got coming out. We're talking about the vaccine issue again. Yep. Getting updated on this. Lots of stuff going on. Legislative session starting next week here, and we got thousands and thousands of DVDs going to explain it to them. We're going to have some fun. All right. Now, she'll be in the third hour. In the second hour, starting off, we have Dr. Ron Paul from the Ron Paul Institute, and we're going into a war. Got to have Dr. Paul come up and explain it to us. Wow. Wow. First hour, having some fun. This is going to be interesting to us all. We've been talking about this for quite a bit. Vivine Anthony is producing the Orville Galaxy game. And doing it with some other people. We got Franz Bendels and Davi Barker, our friend. He'll be here on the 14th, and we're going to be doing lots of work. Maybe we'll be doing some stuff on this. The game has been helped by members and friends of Pirates Without Borders, and it's one of the highlights. The pirates we have in the game includes the Precariat, the ship model. They're basing a lot of the perspective from a pirate perspective. Yeah, you're going to need to. You're going to do a game that's on Fox, Hulu, whatever, Disney. So, Vivine Anthony, we're really excited to talk to you about this. Tell us every little old thing. Vivine, welcome.
Hey, welcome. Hi. How are you doing?
I'm more than wonderful. we've been looking forward to talking to you about this. Tell us, now, the Orville is a kind of it's Star Trek-y, but it's got its own thing. They got the Union instead of the Federation and such, but it's Seth MacFarlane that did Family Guy. And he wanted to do his own Star Trek-y kind of thing. I think he talked to Star Trek about doing that, and he goes, never mind. Because he was in an episode one time. And, of course, he grew up a fan like we all did, but he started his own thing, and then the fans wanted to do a video game. We talked to another gentleman years ago about this, and you kind of took it on and rocking and rolling and whatnot. Tell me how you got involved and what you're doing, how close you are to being done.
Pretty much the pictures that I sent or the videos I have is an actual build. I got the game to the point where it's playable. You could walk around. You could walk around a ship. You could fly. You could pretty much fly out the ship, fly in a solar system, land on a planet, and it loads the settings for each place. The only thing that's not really added is the NPCs. We have the NPCs, but we just looking to add voices to those NPCs and the costumes and stuff for the NPCs, and we actually have markups for that. So the game is pretty much solid as far as a game. We're just now adding all the community content and trying to get the community involved.
Voices. We put up on our site that you were looking for voices. Did you get anybody participating?
Not yet. I think some people was interested, but I think a lot of people don't know about the game or what is being worked on. So like the more that people know, I think the better.
Well, they're going to know right now. All right, so be specific and tell them exactly what it is. You got an NPC, as non-participating character or something like that. Non-participating whatever. What does NPC stand for? I know we make fun of people with it.
Pretty much it's a, like I said, non-participating character that the player don't control, but we're going to take a very different perspective, because even though an NPC isn't a player controlled, an NPC has some impact to the story of the game. I know, like for example, a lot of games have NPCs and they build upon a specific story. So we're looking to have NPCs, characters that will be an integral main part of the whole overall perspective.
Well, I mean, they're standing there, you're going by, and they go, "Hey, they went that away. They went that away. They went that away." I mean, they're gonna say something, right?
Yeah, they have to say something. I give you a good example. For example, when the player starts the game, they have a game intro. Then we have a crew. They start the game on the Orville ship, and the player could communicate with the NPC. So one of the NPC will, for example, drop the line that they have an interest in pirates and old American history, and like it relates to Pirates Without Borders, and also relates to the story in the sense that Orville have a undercover pirate on the ship.
Of course they do.
So yeah, so people who want to do voice clips of joking around, yeah, I'm into pirates and stuff like that. So like small clips like that.
All right. Well, all right. I'll send in something to do something just to say I did. Okay. Now, what would I do? Where would it go? How would, I'm going to a web page. I'm introducing, because we've had it up on the site a couple of times. We put it up there. We need pirate voices. But if you need me to recruit, how many do you need?
Right now I say about 2 or 3.
Okay.
Let's start. We do have a Hotmail Galaxy group at hotmail.com that people could write to. They won't specifically be talking to me. They would be talking to friends.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get it out right now. Donna, go ahead and put at the top of the first hour, what email do you want, website do you want them to go to? Let's make a deal out of it now, because come on, guys, I need your help, Don't make me have to do it, All right, now what is the email that they need to go to?
It's in there.
Oh, you got it in there?
Yeah, galaxygroup at hotmail.com.
Okay, and the webpage that you...
It's YouTube, their YouTube.
Oh, so it's your YouTube webpage.
There's other web pages.
Okay, go ahead and give us other webpage that they can go through to get this information. Donna put it up in the first hour archive right now.
Okay.
Yeah, just give me a web page, and she's all over it. So this is, this is interesting. I think it'll be. I'm interested in people following this through to see how this builds, and in the future, it becomes a thing. Because I know the Orville is going to have multiple seasons. This is going to be a popular show.
It's definitely going to be multiple seasons.
So, and you got a game, and then we've already got the, the comment in the YouTube section, LinkedIn, and it's some Disney lawyer going, now not to be a wet blanket, but I hear tell that if you, shut up, okay? So I want to talk all about this, squashing fan encouragement of God just, hell with them, go pirate. From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Why did you move to...
Yeah, see, we got a bunch of those. It's the whole point is the decentralization of everything. And when you go to space, man, you decentralize. Well, you're going to have a lot of need for somebody come help you. But it's or be of help or be self-sustaining. But the philosophy of it is definitely for a game. I mean, you have some fun.
Exactly.
But the ship you kind of kept fairly same. That's kind of cool. I like who came up with the idea of using the ducted fans as kind of like a propulsion unit or something. The circle.
Oh yeah, I did because I do 3D modeling, and I know that will have to be changed because if the ship goes in space, it would have to change. So I came up with the idea for that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I saw that and I go, oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you got thrust would be like a who's that? Dyson, fan. But I liked it. I think it's cool. And Davi said you're doing something with some of the characters too, right?
Yeah, with some of the characters, pretty much we created several new races for the game. We even have a race of flowers.
Yeah, I saw that. Weren't they in one of the episodes?
No, actually, they was. I think they might have done something flower related in the new Star Trek. But look at the history of the Star Trek show. They actually created a flower race, but it was never used on screen. And one of the things with the flower, we had a different idea. We wanted to think of something that was very different, and jokingly, we said, I came up with the idea of how about a flower that could walk and talk? And then I came up with the base idea. Then with Dave, he had worked on a flower race for one of the stories that he was doing. So we merged the ideas together. Then Franz added his idea. So we took a very, I would say, Marvel superhero aspect into the development of the storyline for the flowers. Then we have the Rockies, which is very Galaxy Crest inspired. So we took a little bit of everything and compared it to the history of sci-fi, then just created something new.
Just because you're having fun, because you can.
All
right, you're coming back. Here we go. I want to hear about the Disney relationship. Here we go.
.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Roads, it's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any
Roads? You don't need no stinking roads. Okay, this is one thing I want to get into. When this started off, the whole concept is, we just want to help, be fun. And we're fans of the show, and I really like it. And I'm going, okay, I'd really like to participate. I didn't know if you need voice. All right, I'll go and here's my voice, and I probably can do the voices or say R a lot or something. But we'll help out. Just because if you need somebody, we'll just do it. And then some of you other guys go to the first hour archive. You know who you are. You want to be pirate? Get a voice in there. Get a couple of lines to do and be immortalized. And it took you like none time. And I know a bunch of you guys got quality microphones and stuff and everything. So get on it. All right. So just did it. All right, so we're going to have some fun with that. Now, the one other thing was in May, we're hitting the road for a year. And we'll be traveling the country doing a lot of stuff. You got some kind of DVD or game, or we can laser up some coasters and have a QR code or something to the thing, a different thing. Whatever. You get involved with us, we're around the country being activists and stuff, and we can have some fun with this thing. So you guys, you let me know. But this is my question. When you're dealing with a studio and a network and all these guys, and all of a sudden, I remember this happened with Star Trek. Star Trek fans went out there and just got creative as hell, and then the man wanted to come explain it to them. Biggest mistake they ever made is like, are you kidding me? You have fans out there wanting to do it, and you wanting to be what? So what kind of experiences have you had dealing with the show itself?
Actually, with the previous project and also now the current project, I've been in contact with one of the producers of the Orville. So they actually know what I'm doing, game-wise or previously, and like, if there's an issue that might occur, I do bring it up, but I keep them updated. And also with the game, we developing it in a way that with the story that we doing, especially with the pirates and anything that we add upon, we building the game in a way that if it comes to the point where we have to create another game, we easily can. So we kind of already put in measures already with the game development to make an independent game. But since it's an overall game in general, we're trying to keep that. I've been chatting with producers for the overall show, so I'm not pretty much worried about it.
Well, what is their response? Oh, we don't care. Well, if you do this, and if you don't make, some big giant change and make fun of and turn Isaac into a toaster or something. I'm wondering, what they have any criteria, or they just say, we don't even have an opinion.
No. I think it's fair. It's like one of those, like, we like what you're doing, it's cool, but we can't officially announce it for the Disney. For example, with the Orville experience, one of the producers put on their Twitter account an image of the app. They can't officially endorse the game, but they could say, "Oh yeah, a game was made." So,
oh my goodness, they actually made some reference to you guys.
To the Stage 9 project, yeah. They made a reference to that. And I also know the producer also is aware of the projects I'm doing. So
all right, well then you're done. Don't talk to him anymore. Screw him. Wait for the letter.
So they're very less strict than other studios.
Well, you would hope that they would learn their lesson. This is it's just a bunch of lawyers trying to justify their existence. Yeah. I could be sitting here staring at the walls, or I could be suing some gamer, and it's just stupid. I mean, the studio needs a policy of attorneys aren't allowed to be stupid. So certainly Seth MacFarlane, does he himself know anything about it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so because it's a close circle of people. Very close. So I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I see it has the quantum drive looking thing, but it looks like it has a Enterprise kind of front to it. Is that another ship you guys created?
Oh, that's a ship that I created. It's something semi. I made that after the season started, the first season. I played around with the idea. The only thing close to Enterprise, is a round dish, but pretty much every UFO have a round dish in the front.
Right.
So like it, I consider it not necessarily Star Trek, but it looks like something that could be inspired.
Yeah,
by
you
Star
could do
Trek.
whatever the hell you want. Okay.
Yeah.
This is my thing. This is the attitude of the developers and the people that are working with you. How embroiled are they in intellectual property rights or something? They're going.
We're not.
Thank God. Thank God. I don't even believe that even freaking exists. It has been such a wet blanket on creativity, and everything is built on everything of it. It's like when Elon Musk is going, does the barge to land his first stages on, and it was Bezos that was trying to sue him, that you can't do that. I got, and he goes, really? He had to go and find an old 1950s movie where they had some Buck Rogers type 3 fin go and land on a barge out in the, see, it's already been thought of by every 12-year-old on the, shut up, it's just, I'm so sick of this. And it's just, I'm not even sure why they would do it. Why do you think the studio would just try to discourage you guys at all?
The studio won't discourage us. Well, if you go to Star Trek, they would discourage anything. But no, the studio is definitely not discouraging any fan involvement with the Orville, which is surprisingly which is nice for a change.
Well, you wonder, is that a Seth MacFarlane thing?
I think so. I think it's Seth MacFarlane and the whole group, the whole team of people that deal with the Orville. Basically, I think the Orville team is pretty much a lot of the Star Trek team.
Yeah.
Or CBS started buckling down. So maybe the team is like old guard Star Trek for the Orville and a lot of new people. So
very cool. We're going to talk about the storyline and the capabilities of the game and what it's played on and different things that you can do. What about mobile devices? My grandson just got a, Switch or whatever the hell that thing is. You can't pry it out of his hands or his dad's hands. So I'm just, where is it going? How are we going to do it? And what can we do to help? We'll be right back here on Declare Your Independence. Vaveen Anthony, web game developer. We'll be right back.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash?
Okay, this is very interesting, and I want to, how many people, we'll do it on the show. How many people are involved? What kind of software does it take? How long does it take to render this stuff? We do even just the you saw the short video, the Precariat tour that we did. That right there takes billions of years, and you're working with Cameron, the gentleman that did that. I know he probably gave you a file or something, But the group participation on this, how would the animators be involved, and what can they do to help, and how many people are on it, and what's the industry like, and how do you launch these games, and what can we build up and ready to be as successful when it's ready to go, and then oh my God, is there any money involved, and who gets that, yeah, I know it'd be whatever, but we'll talk about that. So when we come back, okay. Mm-hmm. And what are the other things? Some of the stuff you want to make sure we get in.
I think definitely that there's a perspective that there's other races that is more of a expanded universe of the Orville. So it does tie in, but it's more on the lines of what was it? I would guess an offset of the Orville, pretty much. Right after the Kalon War. So it's definitely something that could be, let's say, Disney says, "Oh, you can't make this game." Okay, we they fine. We'll just take out the Orville part.
Right. No, I was thinking, and that was my suggestion. I'm going, they can be buttheads. Hell, the Precariat just swoop in and all the crew go pirate, join them, and they blow the son bitch
exactly.
up. I mean, now what?
Exactly.
Or it was derelict and it's kind of drifting in space, and the Precariat goes and rescues them, and then it just kind of drifts and falls into a star, and you're done. So this is, don't go messing around with creative, independent thinking people. That's just like a bad idea,
Yeah.
So hopefully they've learned their lessons. Don't be stupid. Certainly not at this stage. And God, how many? Yeah, they haven't even done the second season yet, have they?
No. They're actually developing that now.
Okay,
so
when they coming out? I thought it was going to be like into spring or something.
I think end of the year, because supposedly,
What?
yeah, at this season they supposed to be adding longer episodes. So I think they're going. I think with the Identity Part 2, where they have the 2-part episode, it's like really climatic and a lot of CGI and a lot of creative work. I think they're expanding upon that for next season, where they have a bigger budget for money.
Okay, don't go stupid on me. I don't need just the social interaction, the conversation, see, it's like Star Trek, the original Star Trek, man. That was low budget of whatever. You go look back at, but I saw it. I binge watched Star Trek when I first when I think Netflix first came out or something. It was on. You go, wait a minute, I can watch like Star Trek 1 through 60, whatever, 7, 8, whatever it is. I go, that's amazing. And that was only in 3 seasons, man. They worked hard, damn, know. So this is all right. Here, we're coming back. Let's get into it.
.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800.
Why would a studio put any kind of a damper or restriction on fans, flattering them? I don't care if they freaking hated them, made fun of them, and turned everybody's a plant. I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just, whatever. It's, spell it right. Hell, spell it wrong. I don't care. Just, make anybody even aware of the series. They're looking at the end of 2020 to bring back season 2. I guess season 1 was just, I don't know, I'm Seth MacFarlane, look what I can do, and we'll make a popular show, and you have no idea because you're stupid, and we'll just go ahead and, have a popular show. And they go, damn, well, we picked that up. Now, it went from, oh, man, help me out here how this went. He started off on wherever he started off on, something, and...
let's see. Oh, yeah, how the show started. Basically, he pitched the Star Trek show to CBS. CBS said that they didn't want it because, one, Star Trek fans would not be, I think, into a comedy type Star Trek show, or they won't. But since they rejected it, pretty much he took the idea, and then he went to CBS. He went to Fox and said, "I want to do a show," and they agreed to it. because he has plenty of shows on Fox, so he could easily do that.
Yeah, they go, hey, you make us money, you're allowed to make us money. Go make us money.
Exactly.
I don't care. Now, but what this is what I want to get to. We'll get into. You can fill it in for me. But the question is, he started it. He went to Fox. He does the first season. Then Fox gets bought up by Disney, which has Hulu. That now they're going to go over and give a bigger budget, go on Hulu, and it's kind of almost in the same people family of you signed a contract with, we own you, kind of something. Explain that to me.
So basically, what I understand is Disney bought Hulu. Hulu have the show, but I think because of the clout that Seth MacFarlane has, he has more power in the direction of the show.
Editorial content control. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully, it stays in the same spirit that it was in the previous season. I really hope that Disney don't go all Marvel on the Orville, which would just kill the show. It's not a superhero show, so hopefully they don't go all multi-universe or whatever crap that they do with the Marvel thing. So
okay, so
let's see.
Well, let me go ahead and ask some questions. These are the questions I've had, and you're the guy. All right, so they have a successful season. I would imagine the first day went, whoa, okay, we can make some money on this. Let's go make some money. And then I guess they figure they need to make more whiz bangs and have zoom-in fighter dogfight space scenes or something, whatever they're going to do. Don't go too stupid. I like the interaction. I thought that was what made Kirk, Spock, and Bones such a big part of it was their interactions. And I think Seth knows this. So he's building those relationships and went kind of all in, man. I mean, there was some creative episodes. So here we have a network that has a successful show, which is rare to begin with, and then they go, all right, what are we going to do with it? Well, then Fox was part of the Disney purchase, which includes, Disney owns everything now. I mean, you want to talk about consolidation of everything, man, it's Disney. So Disney gets them, and then they decide to what? They're going to be on Hulu? Is that their primary?
Yeah, they're going to be on Hulu, but just to give ideas, maybe they should do more than just put it on Hulu. I'm not going to throw them ideas, but they could possibly find other avenues to build the show up to in the meantime.
Well, you mean like Disney doing Star Wars? It's going to be Mandalorian and Boba Fett, little kid's cousin or something? I mean,
how Star Trek does the short tracks and stuff like that? Maybe fan-inspired short films. It's separate. I know on YouTube there's one fan video that someone made that deals with the Orville, but I only seen one so far. And I think if the studio encouraged that, it would help build that brand and help the series grow, like how Star Trek grew over the many dozens years.
This brings back, why would they not want to? Why would they want to? And it comes back to our experience with Firefly. Firefly had, a lot of support. It was huge. It, only did 13 episodes, and then they canceled it, and then the fans brought it back for a Universal feature movie, Serenity. Yeah. And I'm going, the reason when I watched it, my executive producer at the time, editor, senior editor, he goes, man, you got to watch this thing. This is in 04, 05 or something. So I binge watched it one weekend. I went, what the hell was that? That is awesome. That was so freedom-oriented, libertarian mindset of the alliance sucks, which is the government. It's might as well say the crown. And I'm going, okay, I can see why Fox would cancel this. They either didn't understand it or there was some overriding, secret handshake club of, man, we don't want people thinking this way. It was a philosophical thing, in my opinion. So I'm going, okay, because you had guys coming back from the Iraq War that had binge watched this stuff. It was the most, like, 7th most popular TV series on Amazon being sold. It was just huge and big fan base. They bring it back, and I'm going, what moron canceled this? Who and what was their reasoning? So my question to you is, the Orville and certainly the game, what's the philosophy? I mean, there's always a driving philosophy. I need more car crashes and spaceships and laser beams or something. Or is there a philosophy that's being espoused? What is it?
In the game, yeah, there definitely is this philosophy. With the philosophy of the game is that the Planetary Union is much like the Federation, and Federation in beliefs and concepts. The hillbillies, but the perfect organization. And then we have the pirates, the free thinkers, the independents, and they see the atrocities or the events that the reaction to the planetary union to certain events, and they don't like it. They don't accept it. For example, with the Orville episode, there was this show about a whole planet with the Markland females,
Yeah.
and the planetary union didn't take the decision immediately to protect the Markland females.
Okay, so the audience understands. It may not be fans.
Yes.
There is a race, a planet called the Mocklans that they, if you are born female, that's like a defect, and they make everybody male. Now, there's a lot of, of course, families that they escape or they go ahead and have females, and they go to this one planet, and there is just a whole bunch of female Mocklans there, and the Mockland homeworld is like, no, you're not allowed. You got to come in. You need to be corrected. Go to your re-education surgery camp of whatever the hell. And so then they ask for autonomy and freedom, and does the Union protect them? Well, they kind of got that's we'll see where this goes, but the main thing is the Mocklands develop all the weapons for the Union. So they need them on their side to go up against the Kalons, which is the artificial life forms. The Cylons are taking out humanity kind of thing. So this is, it's more complex. So when we come back, we'll finish up with that. I just want you to get the backstory here of why this is such a big deal, which has a lot to do with transgender stuff and there's all kinds of issues. Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. Well, I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, you see? There's going to be, at least the pirates got to play the game. What's your score? I was like, oh yeah, that's how do you know if you win? I mean, what is the goal here?
Yeah, that's a goal. I think we're taking more of like how Star Trek Online perspective. It's not about the goal; it's about the story. I think with the story, we're trying to get it to the point where you could play as an Orville officer, and you can unlock the pirate play. But as an Orville officer, your goal is to chase down the pirates. Because you're looking at it from the Orville officer perspective. But the more you play, and when you unlock the pirate, you learn about the pirate's perspective. And then when you get to that end, you come to some agreement where the pirates are still pirates, but they make an agreement with the Orville specifically not to interfere. And it pretty much like I know you, I know you, I know your perspective, I know your perspective, and we're going to end there. And that's our first, I guess that's the first story goal is a chase, the perspective of the chase. Then you could then get the perspective of being chased and what's the reasoning behind those decisions up to the story goal of coming to some type of agreement, that mutual agreement, much like how.
Well, is this still in development? The game itself on how it scores, or really you're just I'm start here. I'm gonna walk, fly, warp, quantum drive over there, and then I'm gonna go pew 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 or what? I mean, what's the goal?
I think once we start adding the NPC chats, we would start fully implementing the missions. All the progression type stuff.
Well, I wonder if there's an overall goal as to, make the union bigger, dismantle the union, make, I don't know, Isaac needs to, artificial life forms need to procreate and learn to have sex or something. I mean, what?
The goal for the union would to get more technology to get technology where they could fend off the Kalons.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be a goal. All right, here we go.
Air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Freedom is the answer. What's the question?
I want to break free.
You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
I want to break free.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. All right. The Orville, the overall thing, one of the crew members, kind of their data, or their Spock, the logic and reason of I'm smart and I'm all sciencey and stuff, is they're an artificial life form, called Isaac. And he's just a robot. And he comes from a race of robots, and you find out later that they wiped out all the biological life forms because they were a threat to whatever, and we killed them, and billions dead, and we rule now. Well, they go out into the galaxy, and they're seeing are all biological life forms need to be exterminated or not, and Isaac is a crew member on the Orville, goes through their academy of whatever the heck, and he's serving there, and then he has a love interest, and he gets humanized, and he's like a friend and an ally and on their side, but they've decided that all biologics need to, it's like the Cylon in Battlestar Galactica, okay? So everybody's ripping off somebody from something. But so here we have the artificial life forms towards the end of this. Man, they're coming after humanity and all the other all the E's, all the races. And what happens is it's an existential threat of we want to keep breathing in and out and stuff, and that can be the goal. The goal is, defend against the Kalon. So there we start with that. So I guess you need to get more Mocklin guns and stuff. So part of the motivation is, one, not dying. Two, getting more stuff so you don't
Technology.
Die. Yeah. So this is the goal of the game right now.
Yeah, it's definitely the goal. The goal of the game to get technology and learn technology to fend off from the Kalons. But doing that, I guess reaching that goal, you're learning about the pirates and learning about the planetary union from the pirates' perspective.
Oh, thank God! You see, once you add pirates, in Star Trek they had Harry Mudd. In Next Generation it was the Ferengi, or somebody's in there to make profit. But the what are the motivations? Motivations a lot of times is just leave me aloneism. And the pirates definitely would represent that. Look, hey, man, we're not, are they, the pirate characters are introduced in the game in what way? How are they? They, what? First time you see them?
They're introduced in the game by first, when you're over an officer and you're on a crew, you learn about an officer who has pirate interests. And then with the game intro, where you meet the flower race, you find that there's something about being something mentioned about an independent group of people, but you don't know what they are. And as you play, you get missions to capture, to chase down the pirates. Pretty much like you're a Star Trek officer and you're captain, and you get orders to go after mud. While you're going after mud with the reasoning and stuff like that. But at a certain point, you unlock the pirates during the game, and then you could play as a pirate, and you could be like, well, I'm a pirate, I'm independent. The Union, this happened, and you didn't do this, and that's what's wrong. And that's how you get introduced to the pirates. But you get introduced to different races that might have technology or experiences that might be required or needed for the planetary union. So it's like a two-part goal. You
So,
play.
as a team, or is it an individual player, and is it on a gaming console, played on the web, going to go to mobile devices? I mean, what's the future?
What the future is right now, we have the build. We have it. I build it on Linux Ubuntu. So it will be a standalone. It's definitely a first-person, third-person game. Um, you could go to different planets. I'm looking the planet generation or the planet building. I'm looking at something more like No Man's Sky, like where it's a of universe. You could go explore and you could find things if you choose to play that way, or if you choose to play storyline. So that's the first goal. At some point, probably add multiplayer. A lot of the tools that I use has multiplayer compatibility. And since I'm the only developer, programmer, it takes time. I wish there was more. Um, but I'm the only developer coder right now. And so that's the first stage. The second stage is maybe a mobile app, which would be cool to get information about your player. Also, a wiki page with like the storyline and the lore of specific races, and see how that goes. It's small things, but added together could create a big base of people. So standalone would be the first stage, probably some type of social multiplayer or player-to-player interaction, and then the third stage may be online resources
Well,
for
what's
the
your
game.
experience in doing these kinds of games? And what would you call this? It'd be an online game, and you mean standalones, like comes on a download and you're on your PC, or
Yes,
what?
sorry. Standalone is pretty much a game that you could just download and play on your PC. Um, then there's also online game which has to be connected online to play. Um, and then there's multiplayer type
But
games.
what do you plan? You're starting off with a standalone download, and then it may expand.
Yeah,
What's your
standalone.
experience in this? You've done other games. You've been a player a lot with some skills. How'd you wind up doing this?
How I started 3D modeling maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. So I did that, started 3D modeling. I started to work on a game engine myself years ago with another developer called Yuho. And we got the game to the point where it was almost a standalone, but the person was in Russia. So that didn't pan out. I still got the source for code. And then after that game ended, I started working with Unity to make um, Android app games for the phone. I did that for like 2 or 3 years. Then I started working with Unreal for game development. I've been doing C programming for almost decades, off and on C++. So like I'm just putting together everything that I learned, that I experienced. So
Why the Orville? You just liked it?
um, I like the first season. First, I liked the Orville the first season, and since the Orville was something new, um, well, let me say
Yeah,
it
the first
wasn't.
one to do it wins, and you won. And there have been other people, and we talked to other guys too. But it's just it doesn't matter who has the idea; it's who does it first. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. I think with the Orville, it's a little bit different because it's so close. It was so close to Star Trek in a lot of ways that it was new, but it was something familiar.
Well, it's
And
like
one
you doing anything. It's like, how do they go after intellectual property of a spoof of a spoof of a
Yeah.
spoof? I mean, I'm like, when does it stop? I mean, come on.
Exactly. And one of the things that I always wish they did with Star Trek is with Star Trek, cover Star Trek from the perspective of a Romulan, or cover Star Trek from the perspective of a Klingon. Like a very different perspective. And I wish they did that, because that's one avenue. Like they never expanded upon that. What is it like to be a Romulan in Star Trek? To live on Romulus?
Nah, no, you just put them all as freaking pirates, and then they can do whatever the hell they want. That's one thing. The pirates, just like pirates here in the Americas, 40% of them were black escaped slaves or something, freed slaves. So this is, the pirates could be any race, multiple races of race, of whatever the hell they want,
Yeah, we can't even make a kill on a pirate.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome. That's like with the Mandalorian, they got this one killer robot they turned into a nanny or something. They reprogrammed it. So this is all right. We're paying attention. We'll see what we can do to help. All right, hold on there a second, and we'll talk to you a little bit in the after show. But
okay.
I tell you, Levine, this is such a labor of fun. I don't know if it's a love or not yet, but it certainly can be a really good opportunity for us all to participate and just have some fun, and that way we can help promote it in a lot of spaces. We'll be right back.
Is spreading the message of liberty.
Yeah, see, that's one thing that you tapped into, and I don't know how much interaction you've had with Davi, but he's a really creative, talented, smart guy that has a lot of contacts in the crypto world, in libertarian, evolutionary, freedom-oriented, voluntarist, leave-me-aloneism of whatever Davi, okay?
Yeah, definitely. I really am happy that I met Davi and friends and stuff, because, like, I had to pretty much start from scratch, and he has a lot of ideas and very creative, and like that's one.
And a lot of contacts. Like he's working on another game, phone-based whole multi, player freaking educational whatever the heck, and it's a lot of this stuff comes in, overlaps of what you're doing. It could be. You guys come up with something. It could be a good launch. You get a lot of now. What about money? And I don't give a crap. You can make all the money you want. I don't give a shit. But, I just need to know that, is there a financial incentive in this sometime, somewhere for something, hopefully?
I think so, yeah. We created a lot of fan art, fan logos for the game itself, designs that's not necessarily will get the gavel down. So like we have stuff that could be used to make merchandise, to sell, to give away, to help keep producing the game.
If you can do something like that, as opposed to what is always the knee jerk, is to try and proprietarize, whatever you call it, commercialize the software. Trying to own ones and zeros is just never works, So if you can do the yogurt thing, merchandising where the real money's made, then that'd be the way to go. Because that's one thing, us creating the precariat and the whole genre and the mythos and the philosophy behind what we're doing, I could be, I don't know, I can't because I don't know, I don't want to, but, some people would be a butthead. Hey, you're using, and you're not doing it, and I want, then I don't care, okay? Fine. You make it even kind of sort of almost looks like the precariat. Hell, I'm happy as hell. I don't give a crap. Okay. So this is something that if the people come in with the mindset of promoting a philosophy, an idea, or just having fun and doing awesome. If somebody wants to make money, awesome. If somebody's made a shitload of money, awesome. I just don't care. It's if you want to kill a movement, try to control it. That is the biggest problem that these guys have. I'm wondering, as you get more and more and developed into this, you always have the mind that you're kind of leaning towards the pirates just, freaking, and we're gone, So if you do that, you probably have a lot less likelihood of them screwing with you,
Yeah.
But the future is just whatever we want to make it. I'd love to see this kind of thing being promoted by us. So we have an opportunity to. We travel a lot. We go to a lot of festivals and seminars and things and, functions and whatever, and got a little something in our hand. Oh, yeah, and here, play this. We got Pirate the Game. I mean, the Orville game we could put in as a link on our web pages. Then the Liberty Community's got 1 billion of them, and you're a communist if you don't play this game. I mean, whatever, okay? So this is a big marketing opportunity. Now, Davi's going to be here, I think, the 14th of this month for a couple of weeks. We usually do 3 to 4 2-week periods a year to where he comes and we just put our head down and we plow, and my wife just gives us bulletproof and feeds us, and, man, how much work can we get done? And we get a lot of stuff done. Then we...
Go ahead.
No, that's it. What
I was going to say, we'll definitely talk to him because I know with dealing with Davi, we created like logos for the game. And also someone gave me some fan art for a character. It's definitely something that could be put on stickers, merchandise, hat, jackets, and stuff like that. And it could be something to promote the game or promote the game, sell, whatever.
Well, Davi told you that's what he does, right? Shiny badges and all that. I mean, you lucked out, man. I mean, you're in with. All right. Well, if you'll let us, we kind of keep hands off. Just kind of, I don't want to, mess up the deal here. And whatever I got to do to encourage you guys, keep going on, whatever help we can be, and we'll let the pirates know. But it's, stay in touch with us. Let us know what you need, and I'll go ahead. I'm really, really, really busy this week, but hopefully by the weekend or beginning of next week, I can. What do you need? Well, what the hell do you need for a voice check? Hell, I got here. 1, 2, 3, done. Now what?
That's fine. We need someone to contact the Galaxy Group. And then I would talk to friends, and we would come up with some basic lines that could be used for one of the characters for the NPC.
You come up. I tell you what. You send me the lines. I turn on the microphone. I send the MP3s. We're done. Boom.
Yeah, pretty much. It's that simple.
Waiting on you now.
It's that simple.
Yeah, waiting on you now. It's publisher at freedomsphoenix.com. Okay? Publisher at freedomsphoenix.com. You send me the lines, I do them, I send them. Hell, I get some of the other guys to do them. I'll get you a whole line of you're done. And you'll have all the files just sitting there waiting on you then. Boom.
Exactly.
Boom.
I think with the person, they could be creative with the lines or how they want to respond.
Whatever. Just give us the parameter. We'll just do a bunch of crap, and you can, hey, I like your outfit. It's tight. I mean, whatever. I don't care. Okay, just send me, whatever it is, and we'll do it because it'll be awesome.
Yep. So it'll be fun. It'll be.
Yeah, you just keep. How many hours a week are you putting in on this?
Right now, depends on the week. The last couple of days, last 2 weeks, maybe 3 or 4 days. I'm trying to get everything finalized and built and running.
Well, how close are you to releasing something?
as soon as I get a Windows build, I could release something now. But the thing is, like, it could be given away now, but I definitely want to get some NPCs, some characters in it, because that's what the game going to need.
All right.
So,
all right. See, who are we waiting on now? We're waiting on you. You're not waiting on me. I just want to leave it with that. Waiting on you now. All right. I got to get to my next guest. Naveen, it was awesome. This is a lot of fun. We're going to enjoy it in the midst of all the crap that's going on. We need a diversion like this.
Yeah.
Seriously. And the philosophy is what? Leave me alonist, voluntarist, conservative, liberal, libertarian. I mean, where are you guys at?
Libertarian.
There you go. Woo-hoo! Leave me alone. All right. Hey, thanks a lot, man. It was awesome. We look forward to talking to you again.
No problem.
All right, peace, bro. Bye.
All right, take care.
Live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah! Undefeated, and declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA Tifo Studios of Freedoms with an S, FreedomsPhoenix.com. Ooh, that was a good one. All right, we're going to get right to it. We don't got a whole lot of time. We're just going to blaze right through the breaks and go until, man, he just hangs up on us. Dr. Ron Paul. Dr. Ron Paul started Ron Paul Liberty Report in 15. Man, has it been that long? It's almost 5 years we're going up here. By the former 12-term U.S. Congressman from Texas, Dr. Ron Paul. We'll just get right to it. What's on mine and everybody else's lips is war. Dr. Paul, yes. I'm going to just give it to you. Explain to us as you know. We got limited time, so this is a very important issue. Where the heck are we on this thing? What is going on Iran and the world and the finances? It's all intertwined. I don't think people see how intertwined all this stuff is, and we're just livestock being used for something. So go ahead and tell us what you think we need to know, Dr. Paul.
Well, obviously it's a mess, and this week was a very bad mess and very dangerous. The markets got rocked a bit, but they're settling down now. But I don't think anybody should be surprised. I think people should be able to have predicted problems like this because it is a consequence of a policy that we have, and we've had it for a long time. This is Trump has made it worse, especially this last week. But all the presidents have done it, and you can go all the way back to Eisenhower, with us deciding that we hate the Iranians and we have to deal with them. And, of course, we put the Shah in place, and that caused the rising up of the radicals. So this has been going on a long time.
I apologize, Dr. Paul. Can you pull away from the microphone just a little bit? You're over-modulating. I can pull up the volume here. There we go.
Okay, how's that? Is that any better?
Yeah, please. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So the policy that we've been operating, we shouldn't be surprised. This came up in the presidential campaign about, 9/11, and I tried at the time to explain what blowback was all about because it was even predicted by the bad guys that they're upset about us being over there in the Middle East. So it continues. So. And it's endorsed by both parties. It's endorsed by the deep state. It's endorsed by anybody in charge. Then there's this pretense of, like right now, the Democrats are pretending, well, we have to defend our Constitution. We can't let the president go to war without a declaration. And all you have to do is look at what Obama's done. So this boils down to us now witnessing the consequences of a very, very ill-advised interventionist foreign policy but it's coming to an end. The empire is coming unraveled, and I think that's good news. And it happened to the Soviet system, and I think we are weaker than ever internationally. And I think a real evidence of this is what's happened in Syria. I think the Russians came in and sort of settled the score there, even though we're still involved. It is something that is very much showing that we are not the powerhouse we used to be. We've spread ourselves too thin. We're running out of money. We're going to have a financial crisis, and we have a president that vacillates. We really don't know exactly what our foreign policy is, because one thing he says, and then he acts differently. But we need to give him credit. He has consistently been radically so, of the Iranians, and he sticks to his guns. So he sticks with his coalition of the Saudi Arabia, us, and the Israelis to be gunning for Iran. And that's not going to go away soon, but I think there's going to be a lot more violence, although the violence has calmed a little bit today. I mean, the seeds are sown, and I think it's going to get worse before it gets much better.
Okay, we did the killing of the general, and then they did launch some rockets into a base. And are we even now? Are we done? Everybody save face, or are there going to be more?
Well, I think there's going to be more because neither side's going to give up.
Well, what are we giving? I'm wanting to understand. Trump's had this animus against Iran. It was just Iran. They got a bad deal. Iran. I hate Obama and Iran and Obamacare and Iran. And what was he so worried about? Them getting a nuclear weapon, for them just being out of the fold? I mean, why Iran?
Well, because there's been a contest in that region of the world even before 1953 when Eisenhower went in and threw out an elected leader. Because it's in a little more complicated than just what's going on right now, because there's been a fight between the Sunnis and the Shias, and also the Arabs and the Persians, and it's ongoing. And there's powerful forces that have supported Trump, in taking this position, and that represents the deep state. All our organizations that run our country, as well as and especially our foreign policy, and especially the Middle Eastern policy, is designed, and Trump hasn't really wavered on this. He's been consistent on this, but I think it's going to be a lot more troublesome to him, and it's going to be a lot more dangerous. It seems like they escaped the big danger yesterday because maybe they're going to sit back and wait and watch, but I don't think they're going to give up on this. I mean, all of a sudden, the first thing that Trump did...
Well, who, you mean the Trump administration or the Iranians?
Well, I don't think either side will.
But skip to the end on what both interests are. Iran wants what? Leave me aloneism, and U.S. wants what? Iran to be theirs? I mean, what's the goal here?
We want to own Iran like we owned it when we had the Shah in power, and nobody's going to be happy until that happened. The Iranians just want to be left alone. And I put a map up frequently on my program, I'm sure you've seen it, is how many bases we have surrounding Iran. I mean, they're totally captured, and yet they're the only ones who do any harm. They are responsible for every single thing in the world, and yet all they want to be is, I think, left alone. They are responding. They are acting out. Their deal with countries near their borders, but we go 6,000 miles away to stir up a fight, and they're worrying about their borders. And
part of the protection of their borders, is it why they support, or do they even support Hamas and some of these other organizations to lob a couple of mortars at Israel? Or what's the truth in that? What kind of a threat is Iran supporting these smaller groups that are a challenge to the West or something? Is there any validity to that?
Oh, I think there probably is. I think there was a question comes up about what is their position on Yemen. I don't think they decided we'd have a fight in Yemen, but I know they're probably sympathetic and they're cheering for them, but they don't send in troops, and I don't think they're able to send in many weapons and this sort of thing. So, yes, they have an interest, and I think in the Middle East they do have a presence, and they have to stand up or they'll just be rolled immediately, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're a different country than they were in 1953 or even 10, 15 years ago. I think right now the Russians are talking about the S-400, the anti-missile missile. That's going to be a big deal. And the Russians are on their side, and I'm sure the Chinese are sympathetic. And if they can give some protection to Iran with some missiles, and the Russians establish it, because I don't think Russia nor the United States are very anxious to get into a ground war. That's not going to happen soon. It could, but I think that the Iranians are a lot stronger than a lot of people believe.
Well, they are a, kind of a first world nation. I mean, it's not like they, don't know science. I mean, they're reverse engineering drones. They're able to send ballistic missiles. They're, and when they're doing naval drills with Russia and China, I'm going, what the hell are we thinking? They're not going to be, hell, even, I don't know. It's not like Libya, it's not like Lebanon. It's not like Syria. It's not, these are, got, I don't know, what is it, 80-something million people, and they got like oil. And that's one thing that Trump threatened them with. He goes, oh, man, you're going to be out of the oil business if you keep something. Why would he say that?
Well, I think they're confused and they don't understand. I keep thinking about Trump's first thing he did was to get out of that nuclear accord. Now, my position has been you don't join any of those organizations, you just defend your country and stay out of NATO and all that stuff. But it must be said that a nuclear accord that had relative value to it, it was sort of working. There were inspections, and the Iranians were following this, and all of a sudden Trump comes in, oh, they don't follow it, we're going to kick them out. And as soon as we leave, we weren't going to kick them out. We left, and then Trump would get around and see, and then start criticizing the Iranians for not following all the rules. We don't even belong to it. We rejected it. And that stuff is generally made up. But I think that really kicked things off. I think as bad as Obama was, I think that was better than what Trump is doing. Looking for dropping bombs on each other and assassinating their leaders. That's looking for big trouble.
Yeah, that was. I was kind of surprised they embraced this. I mean, of course, they're droning every wedding and little baby body parts all over the inside fence of some terrorist accused, and anybody that knows him is dead at a wedding. But, this was, and one thing that was interest to me and what broke, and like we had a story up, and we had people sending me messages and calling me, friends saying, you can't forward this on Facebook, it deletes it. And I'm going, really? Okay, well, which one's that? Well, it was a Veterans Today thing, of which I don't know what our opinion is of Veterans Today, but, you decide. But they are saying that, how you say his name, Soleimani or whatever, he was invited to Baghdad to either negotiate, to present a position, to kind of something by, certainly by the inference of it being the Trump administration. He lands, he's going to the meetings or whatever, boom, he gets killed. So I'm going, is that true? Was he invited to come and negotiate something?
Well, we don't know exactly, but we should give him the benefit of the doubt. I just think this argument of Trump is preposterous. He went in there to stop a war. I didn't go in to start a war. I went in to stop one, and that is just so much removed from reality, and it's constant. But yet there are some good signs. I see one veteran group, a young veteran group of people that had been to Iraq that says bring the troops home, and they're getting some attention now. So that's more of what we need, because we're not going to get it from the media, and they're not ever going to start talking about that because they happen to support, the military-industrial complex and the coalition against Iran. So,
well, are they lobbying Iraqi parliament? I mean, Iraqi parliament is kind of, making. See, I don't know. They kind of do a blue ribbon panel committee to discuss, maybe kind of sort of asking the U.S. military to leave. I mean, are they asking them to leave? Are they threatening them?
The Iraq voted to do that, but it's not a law. It's a recommendation to the government. I think it's very, very important. I think that does send a message. And, of course, that's been my position. I'm sure it's yours. Just come home, get out of there. The sooner the better. Now, I think it's very good news that the Iraqis are sick and tired of it. But just think, since 2003, and I remember that well because I tried to prevent that from happening, we've been involved in this war and all the killing, thousands of people killed, and trillions of dollars. And what did we do? We turned Iraq really over to Iran. I mean, they're all Shia, and the whole thing is a fiasco. And sometimes I tell people, how can they be so dumb? And then I get the answer back, Ron, you're naive. It's all on purpose. And sometimes I think, with some of this junk that they do because it's so preposterous, but I think there's a lot of stupidity in there, and I think there's a lot of special interest that it gets out of control. I think everybody that wants all this militarism probably wants profit more than they want to see body bags. But the profiteering in this type of operation will lead to the body bags too. But everybody's guiding against that. That's why I was asked the other day, do you think this is World War III? And I said, we're in war against the Iranians, but I don't think that the tanks are going to roll. I don't think it's going to be like World War II, but it could be a lot worse. There's drone warfare and cyber warfare, and who knows what can be done there. It's very, very dangerous.
Oh, I know it's going to be. It's going to be. It's going to be petrodollar warfare, and we're done.
That's it. No doubt the dollar's involved there. And once again, that subject had just come up about, the Iranians won out of the dollar. And I think they're more out of the dollar than we realize, and the Russians went out of the dollar. And when the financial crisis hit, the dollar is not going to be maintained because it's being held by a thread, but everybody loves the dollar still because there's nothing there. But if anybody comes along with a decent support, it's when people lose confidence in the dollar, that something else will replace it, and that might even push the gold prices up and a few other things. Maybe they'll go back to the ancient tradition of using something real for money.
My speculation is that all this brick stuff and the separate set, they're just negotiating for another leather-bound chair at the mahogany table of we rule the world thing. But sooner or later, somebody's going to come with a fiat currency that's going to atomize and little dry martini vermouth of perfume sprayer of some gold on it, and it's going to go boom. We're tied to gold in some way of something, Yeah. And you see that might be coming by somebody doing something. Because a lot of these on the other side of the West, the East, the they, the those, the somebody else, they're accumulating a lot of gold. And and you're starting to see the price start to go up. Cryptos are heading back up, and the dollar purchasing value is going down. That's another thing. The dollar against all the other fiat crap stuff is doing well. You think?
Yeah. But the thing of it is that makes me sick of listening to them, as the Fed officials are saying, we're trying to get the inflation up. We want to destroy the value of money at least at 2%, which is total nonsense, because inflation can go into financial assets, bonds, and other assets, and the stock market. They're tremendously inflated, and that's why there will be a correction there as well. And they said, we didn't realize that.
Oh, talk about pensions. This has been my thing, Dr. Paul. I'm going, look, man, you want to know when everybody gets involved? All your 401k, IRA pensions you thinking you had, and it's gone now. Talk about that a little bit.
And that will be a surprise to a lot of people, because they're told differently. And in a way, they say, we had a major crisis in 08 and 09. It was really, really bad. But they just printed a lot of money and they bailed out so-and-so. Yeah, they bailed out the big financial companies, but they didn't bail out the guys and the young people that lost their houses. And nobody even buys houses anymore in the young age group. Mm-hmm. So it has changed. And that same group that can't seem to get a job because they owe so much money for their education, that they're the ones who are going to suffer the most, because there will be nothing there for them, and they'll be required to take care of maybe some elderly people who lost their pension fund. So it is a calamity that's coming. It's going to be financial, and I connect the financial calamity with the foreign policy calamity, and they'll probably come together, and both will be significant. And I think it's important for people like you and others to continue the fight, mainly to have something to tell people, it's not a big deal. It's easy. We know what they're doing. But when you wake up and realize that this is what you should do, but right now, the only thing left for the clowns that we have in Washington is more of the same. Spend more money. So we elect a guy that wants to be less militarily interventionist and a conservative. He spends more money than the Democrat.
Yeah.
But Reagan did that too. So Republicans are not fiscal conservatives. And all groups up there, Republicans and Democrats, liberals and conservatives, all support the counterfeit machine, the Federal Reserve. And there's not very many people there, a handful of people are saying it's time to bring the troops home. But the troops will come home and a tail between their legs. All I can think about when people ask me for an example, how would that work? Ronald Reagan did it. The Marines were killed in Beirut. He said, I made a terrible mistake, and I'm coming home, and he just picked up and left. And I think that was bold because he admitted it later on. He says, I made a mistake. I thought there were rational people there. And if I had not put the Marines there, they'd all be alive. They wouldn't have been killed. So he had enough sense to leave. But right now, it doesn't look like we're going to leave soon. But I think the talk and what Iraq is doing, we will be leaving.
Yeah,
I
one
think
way
we
or another.
Lost Iraq, and that should be good news. Got to run, Ernie.
Hey, thanks. I tricked them into 26 minutes. I win, or at least 20.
Yeah, I know. I'll be more cautious next time.
Thank you, Dr. Paul, for updating. I appreciate it, sir.
All right. Good to talk to you.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I just blaze through the breaks and see how long I can get him. Because he explain it to us. But he's only available for a short period of time, and I just because guys hate to be in the break, man, just sit there waiting. So we just blaze through it. Yeah, the one thing, I did, didn't get a chance, and it wasn't high on my priority list. I wanted to talk about Jacob Hornberger running for president. I wanted to talk about his support for that. I wanted to talk about, we're going to hit the road, and that we'll probably be coming by and say, yo, what's up? So we'll get that in later. This is, and then Dr. Frank, had a question that I didn't have in front of me, so I don't know what it was. He's supposed to email it. Maybe he didn't. He was probably late with the email too. But he's always late. But Pat Buchanan came out and he goes, "If Baghdad wants us out, let's go." And that was another thing. I if we had more time, I wanted to talk to Dr. Paul. I had up here to talk to him about what happens when the Iraqi parliament does vote and then you're gone. Then what? Trump said, we're not going. We spent a lot of money on an air base. You want to pay us for the air base? What if they said, yeah, here, peace, get the hell out? Then what? There's something else going on. Now, Trump is going to try and convince everybody that he knows, and he's known from the beginning how he wanted to go after Iran, and he was so pissed off at Obama for doing the nuclear deal, which is my thing is I'm going, if you're able to have a thermonuclear, and I'm not, why? What makes you so special? How is it that I don't know what the rationale is. I don't know how do you do, because we're bigger and badder than you? And they go, yeah, well, I got the, Marvin the Martian button. Now what? All our people have it. They got thermonuclear behind the door like assault weapons in Switzerland or Sweden or whatever. What happens?
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeen.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeen.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Ain't that America? America. Well, part of America is Elon Musk in China doing the launch, opening the Shanghai factory and launching of the Model Y. Model Y is, well, here, I'll show you. It looks like the Model 3 kind of hatchbacky. You know, it's like you added a couple of seats in the back. It seats 7. It's like a small, you have the Model S seat 7, probably more comfortably, but this is, it's, I'm not, you know, it's our electric family small mobile of something. I mean, you know, seats 7, but it's a small 4-door kind of like, it almost looks like a Model 3. I couldn't even tell the difference. I'm like, what the hell? Well, it's just kind of the rear hatch has a, is taller in the back so you can fit 2 more jump seats back there. So the kids get your butt in the back. So 7. Well, Donna has an Enclave, big Buick Enclave, and that thing only seats 7, right? Well, I mean, you know, you got a Model Y seating 7. Hell, you could put the Model Y in your car, you know? So I'm just, whatever. So, well, China, I mean, what were they doing before? 3 to a bicycle, 7 to a motorcycle? I mean, hell, I can put them in a car? Okay. Well, the one thing that was the most impressive and a lot of times you ask any 12-year-old, and they're wondering the same thing, is how long it takes to build a factory. Now, that's what's on his T-shirt is, the cartoon, kind of the Shanghai factory. And it started, this in less than a year, 9 months or something. That thing was built and producing cars. Boom. Let me tell you what happens when you get the man out of the way, or at least you got the man, standing there telling people to get out of the way. I mean, it's not this permit crap, whatever. Once we make a decision, it's rock and roll, head down, plow, make it go whir. Well, they did, and then he's going to go build it in Germany. Now, I'm very interested in what happens in Germany. When he builds a gigafactory in Germany, will it take 3 times as long next to the airport there that took 3 times as long as and cost gazillions of dollars if everybody get their fingers in or whatever? I'm telling you, just these examples, just this, you want to build a factory, where are you going to do it? Now, they did it in Reno, the first one, because Nevada was like, yeah, bring it over here, man. We're rock and roll and whatnot. You can do approved. You are approved. And we'll just stay out of the way. And I saw a press conference when they doing construction of it, and the advertising that Nevada was doing with their county guys, state guys, whatever, and they said, yep, we're doing this to get the hell out of the way and build your fancy city of whatever you want to do, and we're out of the way. Peace. It can be done, but everybody wants a cut. Ooh, I see billions of dollars over there. Yeah, a little 100,000, million, little something over here to the home team. We'll do that. You multiply that times a gazillion people and all these parasites, and you got issues. And it's just like, Trump in Manhattan. What is he doing? He's building high-rises. Well, guess what you do to build a high-rise? What are you doing? You're greasing a little bit here, a little bit there, a little something. This is the back to school Rodney Dangerfield. They're in a class. They go, well, we're going to make our fictitious, company is going to make widgets and whatever. So first we got to this, we got to buy that. And he's back in the class at this college, and he kind of, he went back to school because his son was there and he just wanted to hang with him or something. And he's going, right. Well, you'll be building this factory in your fantasy land of nothing, because first you got to pay off this, you got to do this, a little grip for that, a little grease for this. You got to have them change the law of the kind of lobby of the blah, 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 blah. That's how it's really done. Except maybe in China. Well, how's it really done? What do they do? I don't know. Yeah, I build a gigafactory and they start doing like 3,000 cars a day, a month. What was it? It's some ridiculous amount, and they're already producing. Model 3s, you need Model 3 in China? We just made it right here. Oh, they don't come from California? There's a little too much here. What'd they do? And they cut the price like 16% in China. So this is, and what does he want to do? They're already on their 3rd, 4th gigafactory that they planned and doing. They got 2 now. They're starting one in Germany. I think there's another one going somewhere. And he was talking about, and once they go, you could have 3, 4, 5 a year. And he said when you reach 100 gigafactories, they have the battery production at today's capacity of the battery. God forbid, it's you need a third the size of battery. They have 5 times as much, longevity and so on, and range. Right now, 100 gigafactories powers the world on batteries. The world. Really? Okay. Well, we got that going for us. And then there's a new chemistry. We just had on Freedom's Phoenix here. And see if I can find it. Scroll in. Probably go to energy and, find it. Let's see. Stable lithium sulfur battery could see smartphones run for 5 days. They're going, for the same price. You got 5 days. Instead of lithium ion, it's lithium sulfur and, blah, 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 blah. More. I remember the episode. I'll see if I can find it. Let me write this down. I keep talking about it. It was a episode where they go walnut size warp drives. And I remember that scene, and this was in the late 60s as a kid. And they were going, this new technology, if we were to help this race do what they needed to, their whole race destroyed themselves because their minds got so powerful, they just destroyed themselves. And they had, the leader of one side and his wife, and then they had the leader from the other side. They say, and they kept their consciousness in these orbs. Well, they needed the bodies of some female babe, and then Kirk and Spock. And they were going to make android bodies and then put themselves in that. But then they decided they just go to oblivion because even if they have bodies, they destroy themselves again and worlds because their minds or whatever. So in there, they were talking about whether they were going to do this or not, voluntarily allow them to have their bodies to build these androids. And they go, what's the trade-off? Well, it could be, engines the size of walnuts. Warp drive the size of walnuts. No, that's impossible. I go, no, they can do it. Think about it. Just that concept of how much more powerful things could be. When I got my first computer, a Tandy, Texas Instrument, Tandy Model 4, what do they call it? TRS Model 4 or TRS 84, something what it was. And I remember it was a size for 5 additional megabytes. 5 megabytes, not gigabytes, megabytes. 5 megabytes was the size of a big VCR that the computer sat on. Of course, when I opened it, they didn't need all that. I'm like, what the hell is it? Why they got all this cabinetry, man? You can make this smaller. But, it was this big thing. Drives. They called them floppy drives, these little discs. No, I remember when they're 5 1/4 inch or whatever, they were actually floppy. It was a magnetic disc in paper, in plastic, and you kind of flipped it around. It was floppy disk because it was floppy. That's why they call it a floppy disk. And these would have, 1 point something megabyte. Now we're copying movies and everything. Oh, yeah, that's, we'll talk about that later. Movies on 4.7 gigabytes. Oh, my God, you can have gig that you can share around. My goodness, you could, share a video in quality. Okay. USB drive, you got, half a terabyte on a drive. I'm like, oh, my God. This is stuff we would dream. This is Star Trek stuff to us. When, Spock is going around with these little cards and putting them in and everything that was zip drives. You remember zip drives? I don't know. How much did they have? A 200 megabyte, a gig or something? I mean, it was the memory capacity for portable memory. And then you had removable hard drives. I got an HP over there, Hewlett Packard. They had 2 different hard drives. They had a big one and a little one. It could be. This is amazing where we are going now. And to think that it's not going to get faster, smaller, last longer, and then what's the role of centralization when you got your own power and information and transportation in your garage? From the 3rd letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
In an unsettling video released over the web this week, Buddhist extremist cell Kamathana vowed to unleash a massive wave of serenity and nirvana all across the West. Members of the group threatened to implement such severe measures as tranquil chanting, meditation sessions, and eye-opening koans, and assured U.S. leaders of the group's absolute commitment to engulfing Americans in complete and unyielding enlightenment. Here now is a clip from the video.
We will not cease until every city, from New York to London, succumbs to a state of spiritual harmony. Prepare yourself.
Sources confirm that the Pentagon responded to the film by ordering immediate tactical bombings throughout Tibet. And in tech news, the inventor of the Gromdar says he's determined to put a Gromdar in every American home. In other news, a woman who had almost formed a healthy sense of self joined social media, and an area man can remember exactly where he was and what he was doing when he assassinated John F. Kennedy.
This is the Onion News Network.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
I don't know if this is the end. It's the end of the beginning of something. Story came in, Ukrainian Boeing plane crashes in Iran shortly after takeoff, killing 176 on board. Now, this is a Ukrainian Boeing plane crashes in Iran. Well, that's, who gets blamed more? Boeing?
This is the end,
Oh.
beautiful friend.
Yeah, it's the end of something. End of innocence. That's the first things that go. And the end of truth. Truth is the first casualty in war. So this is here we have in Iran, investigators were scrambling Wednesday to determine the cause of a crash that killed all 176 people on board a plane that came down shortly after takeoff from Tehran's International Airport. The Boeing 737 jet, operated by Ukraine International Airlines, took off early on Wednesday en route to the Ukrainian capital, Kiev, with 167 passengers and 9 crew on board. Earlier reports from Iranian state media had said 180 people were on board, blah, blah, blah. 82 Iranians, 63 Canadians, and 11 Ukrainians died in the crash, which took 63 Canadians. What the hell are all these Canadians doing? Which took place between the cities of Parand and Sharir, according to a tweet from Ukrainian Foreign Minister, Ukrainian name. Okay, this is, it's within minutes. It's close. It's like it didn't even get out of town. Imam Khomeini International Airport, and it goes up and it comes down. There are also 10 Swedes, 4 Afghans, 3 Germans, 3 British nationals among the victims, he said. 13 former students of this and guys of that, and it was a Boeing 737-800. Is that the one that had the problems? I thought that was 57. It doesn't matter. You know, it's I don't know if Boeing's stock's going to go up or down, or, you know, wow. This is how's this being used? Well, it just happened, and what's the headline? You know, they're talking about Ukraine here on Zero Hedge. Iran refuses to hand over crash data, stoking speculation plane was accidentally shot down. It just happened. I mean, I don't know. Is the fire's even out, and they're already blaming them for not giving over crash data, trying to pressure them into something. I just hate this crap. You know, So the Ukrainian embassy in Iran originally said that the crash was likely caused by an engine problem. It also ruled out terrorism and rocket attack as possible causes. However, it later removed that information from its website and said the cause of the crash was being determined. All right. Who put it up that said that? They ruled out terrorism, and then who said take it down, and who did it? See, it's always comes to, okay, why did they put it? Why did they? Nobody ever asks why. You go, why? Why did they do that? Who did that? Somebody got a memo from somebody for something? What? I don't know. They never answer my questions. I never get what I want. Okay, this is Iraqi militia leader threatens to target American citizens. Well, they missed any American citizens on this plane, so that probably didn't have anything to do with it. Iraqi militia leader threatens to target American citizens if they reelect Trump. Oh, you reelect Trump, then you're to blame. You're at fault. Here's the Don't reelect Trump. The deputy commander of Iraq's Popular Mobilization Forces, PMF, Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, wants to be the next Cuisinart target, I guess, was one of the Iraqi officials killed by the drone strike on Soleimani last week. Okay, so he already got Cuisinarted. Now, Jawad al-Talbawi, a commander of one of the factions within the PMF, God, there's factions, says American civilians may be targeted if they return Donald Trump to the Oval Office. So they blame the peoples. After threatening the fool and the blackmailer Trump, as well as the U.S. military, al-Tabawi also demanded that American citizens pressure Trump to withdraw U.S. troops from Iraq before we send your soldiers back in coffins. He also suggested American civilians would be the target of terror attacks. Yeah. What shall we do? What shall we do? This is, the big thing in China is about saving face. It's about face. It's about, your reputation, about, credit and blame and all that. And I just, can't you just admit that, we're not doing this anymore and we're gone. That's what Dr. Paul is saying when we just, and we're gone. I vote and we're gone. Let's do that. Breaking news, Donald Trump will address the world about Iran at 11 a.m. Okay. So today, this is in, what is it now? In about 10 minutes, it looks like. I bet it's 11 a.m. Eastern. Will address the world about Iran at 11 a.m. after Ayatollah says missile attack is not enough. Revenge for drone strike that killed Qasem Soleimani. That's a little too Italian. Now, Iran fired 22 ballistic missiles at 2 Iraqi bases housing American troops early Wednesday local time. Strikes are not thought to have killed any U.S. or Iraqi personnel, though extended damages being assessed. Ayatollah Khomeini said U.S. was given a slap, but strikes alone are not enough and wants troops kicked out. There are still fears for U.S. troops after Iran-backed militias in Iraq threatened to carry out their own strikes. President Donald Trump will address the world at 11 from the White House. Timing will fall between Muslims' afternoon and evening prayers in Tehran. So I guess that's why he's doing it. Now, at that time, so that they're not at worship. Now, this is my fear. There are still fears for U.S. troops after Iran-backed militias in Iraq threaten to carry out their own strikes. So that line right there is propaganda, true. Iran embraces that, not, uses that as part of the threat. So now we got, I don't know, is it admitted or accused that they have Iran-backed militias in Iraq? Is this like a secret, or is this, what? I don't know, what does that mean? That is Iran influencing Iraq? And you know what? I don't care. Why am I caring? What? That sounds like Millie way over their problem. I don't care. And I say the Exxon Valdez gets its own 16-inchers. I think Texaco needs to have its own submarines. I think they need to take care of them. I think they need 50 calibers on the nose of the freaking oil tanker and on the sides and whatever, and none shall pirate. What the hell are we doing? It's just an excuse for us to have this industrial complex of the military or whatever. That was one thing when I was running for Congress and so on in the 90s. I know the reporters, they just want to get a wedge issue on you. Aha, see, you're really not that libertarian. They go, well, what about national defense? What about the Navy and our oil tankers and, in the Persian Gulf? What about that? And I go, put 16-inchers on the Exxon Valdez and give Texaco submarines, and they take care of them themselves. Why am I paying for this? It's not cheap oil if I got paid $1 billion. I even did the math one time in like 2005 or something. It was $170 a barrel we're paying for oil that you can get on the market for, like, now it's like 70 or something. I remember it went to $149, and, just at the price of the barrel, not counting all of the other crap. So it was, even I think when it was under 100, we were paying $170-something a barrel when you factor in all the military to protect and get the cheap oil. Then what did Wolfowitz say? Wolfowitz in the Baby Bush administration. He gets up and he goes, yeah, man, this Iraqi thing, we're going to make money. Let's go break things and kill people, and we get that oil, man. Woohoo, we're going to make some money. So what are they saying? Iraq right now is going, hey, man, the U.S. came over here to steal our oil. They're stealing it. It was ours a minute ago, and it's not anymore. Maybe we don't want them here either. This is not going to go well for anybody. And Trump's going to do what? Go up there and rattle a big saber? We got Space Force. The credibility of governments in general is just waxing and waning. It's going. So then what? I'm sorry we didn't tried to drag it. I knew we just had a short time with Dr. Paul. I really had a bunch of other stuff I wanted to talk to him because, of course, he wanted to talk about the war. I wanted to talk about Bumper Hornberger. He's going to be definitely consistent. No, there's no equivocation on anti-freaking war. What, you're just going to let Tulsi have it all?
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Declare your independence with Ernest Hancock continues after the news, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow.
Judy, how are you?
Good morning, Ernie. How are you?
I'm, good. We're rocking and rolling, making a bunch of DVDs and doing stuff.
Great.
I'm going to start distributing probably tomorrow, if not tomorrow, certainly by Friday. And then the legislative session starts Monday, and we'll have a bunch of stuff out there, and we're, doing a bunch of stuff, and then, of course, getting it around. But Arizona, I'm going to make sure they get some, because this is bad, and I know they're coming full court press. What's your knowledge on different bills around the country that, of course, they want to eliminate all exemptions and mandate everything to every age of everybody, and they're going to probably get some successes here. What do you hear is going on?
Yeah, a lot of successes. That's what I sent you today. RFK Bobby Kennedy Jr. is in Trenton trying to stop those bills from passing. Let me know how the sound is. I have a new phone.
Yeah, no, this sounds a lot better.
Great.
It was a guest. A listener sent me an email. He said, it's the apps trying to connect to the internet. When you're doing that and you got apps in the background that are interfering with the call, so if you got a new phone, you haven't loaded up everything, then it sounds a lot better now. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Okay. What'd you get?
Oh, this same Droid that I had before, Android, whatever, LG. I don't use an iPhone because the rest of my business does. Frank and David do. And I crash all the computers, so I stay away from, because a lot of people crash me every day.
Yes, you keep your crap over there, Judy. We don't need.
I keep my crap over there so everybody else can function.
Okay, studies suggest antiretroviral therapy does not restore disease immunity. What's that about?
It's really important because up until 2011, you never vaccinated an AIDS patient. So the purpose of that article and the Science opinion article that accompanies it. So this came from sciencemag.org.
Oh, there it starts clicking. There's an app. What were the apps that you added to your new phone?
Like the airplanes and the trains and the I'll turn off everything except you. So
yeah, just turn off all the apps. I bet you that's what they were suggesting. They said you got to turn off, the online.
Is it still
updating.
clicking? Because I can kick right in on the computer. I'm sitting right here.
No, it seems all right now.
Okay.
Yeah, just turn off the background apps.
Okay. That's what I'm doing.
Because they, it's they, them, those. They just be annoying. It happened to another guest, and I go, man, what is that? And listener said, look, it's the apps in the background that are connecting to whatever the hell their 24/7 surveillance crap. Every click is them sending another screenshot or something. I mean, I don't know. All right, so we got.
So if you just read the first sentence of that,
so
there was
one?
Of the study suggests antiretroviral therapy does not restore disease immunity. So, obviously I've been saying you don't vaccinate an AIDS patient in everything, or a cancer patient. So the very first line of that on January 6th says, amnesia to the immunity afforded by childhood vaccines and infections prior to HIV infection may present a significant health risk. So they're taking, and we got the paper, Frank and I, and we read it yesterday, and the paper says nothing of the sort. And so this is Science Magazine. This is, and so it's the opinion section of Science Magazine. Your immune system doesn't develop amnesia. It doesn't forget what it never learned in vaccines. So I'm going to show how the corruption of Science Magazine and what they did to our paper and other studies. So this study doesn't say that at all. Nothing in the study
so
says.
They just make it up and say what they want it to say.
And yeah, so the Science Mag opinion paper is saying, okay, now we have to go vaccinate all the AIDS patients, all the HIV infected people. So you're going to kill them. And I always say you didn't kill them the first time, right? And so.
All right, we're starting. Yeah, it's starting to click again. Did you turn off everything?
Yep.
All right. We'll muddle through. If it gets
well,
real.
I can get in on the. I'll click in on the computer.
All right.
I'm looking at both.
All right. Well, here we go. Here we go.
All right.
And a man on the verge of self-realization instead turns to God.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yep. We're undefeated here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of freedomswithnetstreamsphoenix.com. Ooh, see, I'm getting better. Clean living. All right, we're talking to Dr. Judy Mikovits. Every week or two, we have her come on and explain to us what's going on in this vaccine education, because she. One of the doctors, that tripped up upon this issue and goes, oh, I say this about that, do a paper, watch for this, here it comes. We can kind of see what's up, and it gets published in a scientific journal, and Big Pharma, hell no. And she, hell no, not allowed to have this opinion, and hell no, you're not allowed to publish it, and hell no, we don't want her talking anymore, and hell no, and the FBI kicking in, take papers, and you're not allowed. Really? Wrote a book about it. Got a second book coming out, what happened when she did the first book. So this is Plague of Corruption. Well, we followed this thread because I just knew better. I'm going, look, man, we're gonna go and see how this is playing out, to the point that Don and I we're gonna hit the road for a year, and we told you about that, right, Dr. Judy?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so here we go. This is important enough. We're going to be hitting the road. Now, there are some stories every week come out of just some craziness that they're doing again. Now, one of these, there's a study that was one of the same magazines that had your stuff in that they retracted. No, we were told that she's bad, so she's bad now. Studies suggest antiretroviral therapy does not restore disease immunity. Why would that even be the headline? What are they talking about?
Well, what they're talking about is a study that just came out January 6th. So this is antiretroviral therapy is, let's just say, HIV infected people. So they're talking about AIDS patients. So at the heart of my PhD thesis in 1991, the paradigm shifting change was you don't vaccinate AIDS patients because you don't wake up the sleeping giant. So when the giant's asleep, you don't wake it up. And basically now in January 6th, the Science Mag. So this is not the paper itself that you're reading. You're reading the opinion article, which they put out to explain to the general public what the study means. So they did a similar opinion article when our paper came out October 8th, 2009, a decade ago. And the opinion articles, oh man, a new virus and all these old diseases, how we can cure things. And then the big, oh my God, was you're transmitting this new family of HIV viruses through the blood supply and contaminated vaccines. So now they're publishing a study that says that basically you don't have immunological memory if you're HIV infected, if you have AIDS. Even if you restore the immune system, you don't have any immunity. And so basically—
Any immunity to what?
To the previous, so it says amnesia. The first line of the opinion article says amnesia to the immunity afforded by childhood vaccines and infections prior to HIV infection may present a significant health risk.
Okay, see, I don't even understand what they're saying. They're saying that if as a child I have immunity to something and I get an HIV infection, then I don't have any of those immunities anymore?
And correct. And nothing could be further from the truth. So what this said, it said amnesia to the immunity afforded by childhood vaccines. There is no immunity afforded at the memory level by the childhood vaccines. So this paper is also, we went and got the paper to see what the paper was saying. And the paper says memory T cells and their memory. So we've known this for 30 years that memory T cells can be killed by HIV. So that's why my work, that's why you use antiretroviral therapy as soon as possible so that you keep your immune system intact. So now they're going back and they're rewriting history and saying, oh, wait a minute, antiretroviral therapy doesn't help restore immunity, so we have to vaccinate all the AIDS patients. And our work says, no, you don't vaccinate an AIDS patient because you're going to wake up a sleeping giant. That is HIV that the antiretrovirals are keeping quiet. And so it's literally a license to vaccinate, so I always say, oh, you didn't kill the LGBT community the first time. So now you're giving yourself a license to. And all of this started in 2011 when they took our paper out.
Okay. So where's Kent Heckenlively? Okay. So I'm going to try and get this dumbed down for Ernie. All right. Help me out here. Now you say, yes, that's true. No, it's not. All right.
All right.
As a child, I would get sick, and I got an immunity, okay?
Correct.
Or I get a vaccine, I might get a little immunity or not, or cause a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, whatever immunity I get, they're saying that even though you may have been afforded some kind of immunity, your system went into amnesia. It doesn't recognize it because when you get an HIV infection, it kind of wipes all your T cell, so that you're not immune anymore. And you're going, okay, well, if they go, well, so even if you got HIV, which we got a whole bunch of people, then the deal is that they don't get vaccines because it wakes the sleeping giant that's in there, and whatever immuno problems you got is amplified by you doing these vaccines. It'll make your HIV worse. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay,
so they're saying it'll make everything worse, not your HIV. It'll make you're going to die from measles, or you're going to die. So it's blah blah blah.
So they're saying that if you have HIV, which the recommendations then was like, do not vaccinate when
Correct.
You got HIV. You want to do antivirals. This is what kept Magic Johnson alive. Okay.
Correct.
You
in part.
Okay, well, you want to do antivirals so that you're not having the replication and the reproduction of the HIV, of what you're doing. Antivirals, best treatment so far, we do antivirals. Well, they go, yeah, but what we really need is we need to do some more vaccinations because they may get sick of something else because this kind of suppressed their immune system. So what they want is an excuse to be able to give even more people vaccines.
Yeah, they're going to take and in fact, this paper, if you go look at it, the only thing they did was look at childhood smallpox vaccination. So they used smallpox in HIV infected women compared to HIV matched controls. That was their little look to see if you had memory to smallpox and vaccine. And so not any of the others, but what this bigger article, so it's really not about the science, because the science is like, well, this is stupid. Everybody's known this for 40 years. But there's no such thing as amnesia. Your immune system doesn't forget. If you kill a specific T cell, then you have to regenerate that. But what Science the Mag is opinion article that is the only thing most people read. It gives you a license to hammer AIDS patients with all the childhood vaccines.
Why would they want to do that to begin with?
Because they want to kill them. They wanted to kill them the first time. They're the original deplorables, the gays, the prostitutes, the IV drug users, the homeless on the streets. And there is no immunity. So the very first line of this paper says amnesia to the immunity afforded by childhood.
All right, more when we come back. Hold on. From the sixth letter of Captain Mark. A pirate's life is characterized by voluntary interactions. Unfortunately, the Crown presses everyone into involuntary servitude. Landlubbers believe slavery was abolished years ago, but the Crown still claims to own us when it crimps us into service against our will. Given sufficient ambition, it would gladly draft thousands of hapless victims to kill or be killed. It's simply slavery by another name. Landlubbers are routinely commanded to serve the so-called justice system in jury duty. But before you swell with civic pride, consider that how you feel is irrelevant to the Crown. You will appear as ordered or face punitive measures. The Crown insists that you participate in your own oppression. A jury summons provides pirates with a unique opportunity to obstruct injustices. A juror can vote not guilty, even if it's proven the law was violated. A juror can acquit for any reason at all, and not even a judge can reverse that verdict. Receiving a jury summons is basically winning the sedition lottery. But if you reveal that you know this during jury selection, you'll probably be dismissed. If the Crown foolishly crimps a pirate into jury duty, it behooves the pirate to conceal their intention to nullify unjust laws. If a master takes 100% of your labor, it's called slavery. But if they only take 50%, they call it taxation, a difference of degree, not of kind. Whether the Crown claims a fortune or a cent is irrelevant. Most of all, a slave owner desires contented slaves, meaning thoughtless ones that accept their bondage. These house slaves see no contradiction in being drafted in a war to end slavery or summoned to a jury to prosecute tax evasion. An ideal slave knows no higher call than the master's will. The Crown's highest ambition is that its slaves revere the authority that subjugates them. But the Crown does not own me. I will not surrender my time and treasure to the Crown's ambitions. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Liberty.
Okay, my first question, and I'm looking, I got some of these articles up, is, let's see, blah, blah, blah. Babies exposed to HIV in utero are exposed to these powerful drugs. We're talking about antivirals. Now, antivirals...
Antiretrovirals.
Yeah, antiretroviral. Antiretroviral therapy, these drugs, how powerful are they? I mean, what makes them powerful? What do they mean powerful?
They stop the transcription of the virus. They stop the virus from being written. They're safe if used correctly. If used in high doses, they kill you.
Okay, from what? See, this is what I mean. What's the threat from the antivirals?
Your cell antiretrovirals.
Retrovirals.
Only retroviruses get into your DNA.
Got it.
And stay there. So they knock out your own immune cells because they break up the DNA so that the virus can't be made into a particle. so that the virus can't be expressed. So any cell infected with the virus will, the antiretroviral is the basic building block, and it will get in there and stop reverse transcriptase and stop integration. Those are the two key things, so that it can't get back into your DNA. And so, powerful. This is what they did in the days of Magic Johnson. So they're taking history back 28 years ago, and it's not the science as much in these papers. It's how they're reading them. The study doesn't say memory to vaccinations. They only looked at smallpox. We don't even give that anymore. So they're giving a license to all the memory and all the infections, and it's simply not true, because 21st century vaccines there's no data suggesting any immunity, lasting immunity is afforded.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about it. Here we go. We're coming back.
At twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800. 602-264-2800. And now, Ernest Hancock.
Old song and dance, my friend. It's the same old story. Same old story. Same old song and dance.
Yep. Same. But we need to understand the same so we can recognize it for next time. Now, I got to make sure I keep saying this right. Antiretroviral, not antiviral, retroviral, and we give a quick understanding. A virus goes into the cell and it uses the energy stored in the, whatever the chemicals and goodies there to replicate, and then it makes more and it comes out and you're sick. A retroviral is different. It doesn't use DNA. It uses RNA, which is read, by, whatever, proteins or something. They read the RNA, and it goes into your DNA. It goes into the DNA of your cell and turns it into a retroviral factory production machine, and splits, and you have more, and that's way more dangerous. And that was the original study of Dr. Judy back in the 80s, 90s, doing all this, said, whoa, what's up? We found out this retroviral thing and how it's gotten into the humans. How the hell did that happen? Where did that happen? Why did that happen? You start finding out they're playing God and doing all kinds of crazy crap, and we're infecting us with these retrovirals that can physically change us. Then I just found out there was a story about people that are doing their 23andMe and their DNA, and they're coming back as some guy from Alabama, and they're living in San Diego, and they're a woman or something. And you go, whoa, what happened? Well, they're having bone marrow transplants, and they start replicating the other person's DNA. You're being changed. And with the retroviral stuff, you do it at the DNA level of your cells, and we're doing all kinds of playing God here. There's some weird, funky stuff happening. So right. Dr. Judy comes in and goes, whoa. You don't need these Mises pieces and cow and pig and stuff and everything in there, and the fetuses from other people and bone marrow. Man, you're good. There's some issues here that you're not taking into account. That's great. Dr. Judy, awesome. Thanks for that. And it belied and showed and demonstrated some funky stuff going on with vaccinations, and they went, whoa, stop her. She's on the path investigating and finding what we're doing. Now we need to stop. Then, of course, they go after Dr. Judy. We start looking at more things, and we get stuff like this, to where they're saying an excuse to keep vaccinating people that should not be vaccinated when they got their immune system compromised and so on, but they go, no, we're going to do it anyway because we have an opinion, and they wrote this article. And I go, why would they do that? Well, Dr. Judy is like, they want them dead. I mean, is it that simple? Are they killing them? They're going to make money on them later or something? Is it a money thing?
They've already made money on them.
So they just want them dead.
So what our work showed, we spend, I think, $3,000 or more a day on every one of the 1 million HIV infected people in this country.
Our work showed with the XMRVs there in the retroviruses coming from the contaminated blood supply in 2009 and contaminated vaccines now, which the Corvelva group showed MMR has at least 8 different kinds of these retroviruses. So there they are, they're injected into you, into an innocent baby before they have a chance to even develop the immune system and the silencing mechanism. And then they and now they're sitting there like a time bomb, and every vaccine they get spreads the infection to healthy cells, and before long they've destroyed the immune system. So what my work in 1991 suggested is that you do not vaccinate an AIDS patient, because you will wake up those cells and that virus factory will start producing viruses. So as long as the retrovirus is silent, it's not destroying your immune system. So now they're saying, well, wait a minute, antiretroviral therapy won't restore the immune system. Well, of course it won't. It's not intended to restore the immune system. That's a no-brainer. But you don't revaccinate them because you're going to spread the virus through the person anyway. So now, and all this paper looked at, what I wanted to do more than anything was teach people that the paper doesn't say. So we went and got the actual paper, and it's actually stupid because it's an experiment we all know the answer to for 40 years. Why would you do it? Because they want to give themselves a license to vaccinate. So the paper just says, it doesn't restore immunity, so these people are going to get sick. And we know that childhood vaccines don't provide lasting immunity. So now they're blaming the HIV and the patient and whatever, and they said, we got to vaccinate them again. And they will kill them. They will destroy and they will kill them. And they're spending a lot of money on HIV-infected individuals because of the laws that the ACT UP and the activists in the 80s changed. You can't ask. They get their drugs for $25. Medicare pays for everything. They get their drugs for free in the streets of San Francisco, whether you're a United States citizen or not. So the measles paper I showed you and Bobby Kennedy's talk, Junior's talk from this weekend at UCLA, goes into the measles and how we know now after 40 years the immunity to measles is over a few months or at most a year. So there is no lasting immunity. So they're twisting all the data. They're using AIDS patients as guinea pigs again. And now they're coming out with their op-ed, which is what this Science Mag, this is what they did to our study. They said our study said something that we in the paper never said it said. They extend the conclusions in order to fit their political and economic game.
Which is what?
Which is to stop spending all this money on AIDS patients and get rid of the ones infected in the 80s.
Well, you got 1 million times 3,000. You said 3,000 what, a day on each person?
I don't know what the dollar sign is now. I remembered it a little while ago. But remember, XMIV, ARV, and the other retroviruses, the family of viruses in 2009 was 25 million Americans. The controls in our study, in every study, not just our study, the controls were between 4 and 8%. That's 25 million Americans that they need to afford the same benefits they afford HIV-infected people. That's what the law at the time said. There was an ICD 9 and 10 code that said the diagnosis was other retroviral and other human retroviral infection. So the government made it all go away because it would have just cost trillions of dollars to pay for the crimes of the infected, of the contaminated blood supply and the contaminated vaccines. So now what they're doing is really quickly killing everyone so that they can save the money. And that's why they took me out. It had nothing to do. It was, oh my God, this is 25 million Americans.
You know, and we're looking at 1 million times a few thousand a day. That's like 3 billion a day. What? I mean, we're talking lots and lots of money here, and we want to get rid of these damn deplorables anyway. All right. So they're murderers now. Yay.
Well, now they're just rewriting science and history. This is it. And nobody goes and reads the original paper because they're not scientists like us. And the paper doesn't say, just like our paper didn't say what they claimed it said.
All right. I'm relatively concerned here. All right. So we go into Trenton. What's going on? Well, you want to do Trenton, RFK doing that, or you want to the measles vaccination story? Which one?
Well, so let's do the measles because it follows on with HIV. It shows why they're doing this. So I'm not HIV infected, but I'm XMRV infected, and I guarantee you I make antibodies to measles. Guarantee you. I'll go do it tomorrow because I had a natural childhood infection. So I guarantee you if Magic Johnson, who's about my age, was infected, because he stopped the transcription, I guarantee you if they test him and re-challenge him, he will make antibodies to measles. I guarantee you nobody vaccinated with measles after 1963 that never had a natural infection will respond if they challenge them. And that's the problem. So the measles vaccine doesn't produce lasting immunity. They know it. It doesn't produce a memory. They know it. And that's why, they're perpetrating these frauds across the country in these so-called epidemics.
Well, it was a private school, Catholic school or something, where was it, Texas or something, had 100% vaccination, but they had a big rash of measles.
Correct.
Okay, why?
Because the measles vaccine doesn't work.
Well, you didn't hear a lot about that.
Nope. And that's what Bobby said. That's what the paper showed you. So in his slides on Sunday at UCLA, he went over all the data. Again, many people like Dr. Suzanne Humphreys, Hillary Butler, and others, many scientists, particularly Andy Wakefield, who studied this for now 20 years and has given talks at various summits, including The Truth About Cancer and other things. He shows you the molecular mechanisms. We understand why these vaccines don't develop immunity. But of course, they have never tested them. So when they say amnesia to the immunity afforded by childhood vaccines and infections prior to HIV infection, your body doesn't develop amnesia. If the HIV doesn't spread through your immune cells, which is where those proviruses replicate, where that virus producing machine is going on, that's why you keep it quiet. That was our work. That's why they give steroids in these diseases. It's also antiretrovirals and steroids. Suppress the immune system so that you don't activate the virus and let it spread to create more dysfunction, to create AIDS, which is acquired immune dysfunction or deficiency. So this is what you don't do. And this is what I said on October 8th, 2011. Literally, I said, you don't vaccinate an HIV infected child, never have. And we've had HIV infected in utero children come out, be treated with these dangerous antiretroviral things, and they're cured. I can find you the Tony Fauci talk from a decade ago or more, which said, oh, we cured a child because we treated them with these drugs. So now they're twisting it all around and corrupting the literature with opinion pieces. It's not the scientists. The science in the paper is correct, but it's stupid. Why would you do that? We've known that for 30 years. And it says absolutely nothing about childhood immunizations because there's no data anywhere because they've never been tested.
Here we go.
That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
She knew what she was doing when she taught me how to walk this way. She told me to walk this way, walk this way.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence. Dr. Judy Mikovits, we're going at it and almost missed a rejoinder because we were just yakking. All right. There's a lot of stuff going on. The next story we want to talk about, there's always the measles. Measles. Even had, the networks were taking and photoshopping measles on children. You know, they're just trying to amp this. Oh, the measles, we're all going to die. And I'm like, you know, I don't remember measles ever being that big a deal. I mean, it was, you know, kids had measles, you got the measles, and you're done with the measles. But when a healthy kid gets measles, it's for how long? How many days does that go?
5 days, 6 days.
And then everybody gets it around them. I mean, you know, it's pretty contagious. But and what's the symptoms? You get like this red blotchy rash and what else?
You get a cough, you're in bed, you feel horrible, you could get a little bit of diarrhea, you have a fever. I had a very severe case of measles when I was 5 years old, and you know, I was head to toe blotches, and I didn't feel very good, but I have an incredible immune system, and I was out of school for about a week, and I'm fine.
Yeah, now you got lifetime.
And now I've got lifetime and protection from breast cancers, as we now know in the field. For what reasons we still don't understand, we're not God.
Okay. Vaccine failure, the glaring problem officials are ignoring, part 1, measles vaccination. Now, this is at children'shealthdefense.org. I put this in search results on their site, on search engines. I'm sitting here looking at it, but it doesn't come up.
Oh, it would have been right on it because it was just this weekend. It's
I'm just saying in a search engine. Okay. See, this is one thing. The search engines. I mean, I use different ones, but you can't count on that. Yeah, I see it right here as one of the stories. It's just that this search engine thing. You know, you doing anything on vaccinations, man, they don't want to play. You know, here it is. But I'll show the audience here. Right. Here's exactly. I put it in there, and it's not there.
Right.
You know, and then I go to the website, and I'll look at the Children's Health Defense, and I put it in their search engine up here, and it doesn't go. But there it is, their link. I'm just telling you, I do this a lot. I've been, searching all kinds of stuff and doing hundreds, thousands a week of storage. I mean, this is what I do all day, every day. I mean, it's like 2-3 hours of this. And I'm telling you, when it comes to vaccines, it's got its own special you're not allowed.
Right. And so with this particular paper, as relates to the last paper, here I'm reading the second sentence in that article. As of 2019, in fact, leading vaccine scientists admitted that the ability of current measles vaccine to sustain long-term protective immunity, what did we say AIDS patient, HIV infected didn't have? Long-term protective immunity and adequate herd immunity in settings with no wild type virus exposure is still a subject of debate. There is anywhere from 2 to 12% of people who receive the measles vaccines develop no immune response, primary vaccine failure. So here in the little HIV paper, they're twisting it around in order to hit them again and saying, oh, it's the infection and antiretrovirals are bad and we can't treat these people and keep their immune system functional, because the government's paying for the antiretrovirals. Remember, every HIV infected person in this country gets free or $25 a month, and taxpayers pay for it. That's what ACT UP earned in the 80s, the laws. And when we can go back and talk about it on another show. But see, this is it. So now they're using their own vaccine failure, absolutely vaccine failure.
As a marketing campaign.
As a marketing campaign.
Okay. Let me read that again and emphasize this. So, because I was looking for where you were talking about here. As of 2019, this last year, in fact, leading vaccine scientists admitted. Now, who the hell is a leading vaccine? Well, this is what you were saying. All of a sudden, now they're on board. They admit. Okay, yeah, all right, we admit.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
That the ability of the current measles vaccine to sustain long-term protective immunity and adequate herd immunity that they keep going on about in settings with no wild-type virus exposure, nobody just gets sick from measles, is still a subject of debate. Now, this is what they're saying. They're saying that if you have, even in the herd, somebody got a measles and they kind of, spread it around, well, they're fine. They're doing better. They're part of that herd immunity from the natural measles. That is what. But if you take the natural exposure to measles out of the equation, and you're only having people that get it through the vaccines, it's not working. So
It's
they're
not
going.
lasting.
It doesn't have adequate herd immunity. So the answer is what? More measles vaccines?
Doesn't develop a memory. That it is not lifetime or anything close to it. It might be less than 6 months immunity. Sure, it can spread. It can prevent an acute outbreak, but actually, what we now know is the vaccinated will not respond by making antibodies in the setting of acute. But I will. I got a natural infection before the vaccine in 1962. I'm old, and I'm fine. And I have lifelong immunity, and I'm not one of those people who, in the setting of a wild type outbreak, would get the infection. And so some of these, that's what you just asked. Why are these people getting the infection if they're vaccinated? Because the vaccine doesn't work.
Okay, now this is becoming obvious. There's stories, you have private schools, 100% vaccination. All of a sudden, everybody's getting measles, and they freaked out. They went, "Whoa, this isn't. We got to, stop. Everybody goes home. We're closing down the school. You guys get it all done, and then we'll come back and we'll see what's up." And I'm going, so this is something that they couldn't get away from. So now they got to admit it. They're coming out and they're going.
They don't have to admit it. They're twisting it around again. And they're saying, oh, now we need to just vaccinate the
No, I was getting to that. They're going, we're admitting that this doesn't have long-term. It doesn't work. So you know what we got to do? More! We need more! We got to do more and vaccinate more. Their solution to their failure is more of what failed.
Correct.
Are they talking about even changing the notion and potion? Or are we just got to do it more?
Oh, no. MMR5 is that one loaded with retroviruses via the data of the Corvalva group. No, it's getting worse. And in fact, one of the big things that happened while we were away just a few weeks ago is they approved an Ebola vaccine. So wait for it. Just wait for it. What's going to happen is now Tony Fauci's going to parade out in front of the world and say, everybody, Ebola's coming. We're in trouble. Vaccinate everybody. But the military and the first responders and the lab workers are going to get hit the first because those are the ones they already infected and contaminated, injected with, in whatever, with all these other retroviruses. So they'll get killed first as we hammer them and spread those retroviruses through their body. And it includes me. So that's chapter 7 of our first book. Oh my God, we can't possibly protect the lab workers.
Okay, first FDA-approved vaccine for the prevention of Ebola virus disease, marking a critical milestone.
Show me the data. Show me the data. Show me who it works in. Show me that there is no data. They approve something just because.
What do you mean? It's a vaccine. Do they even have to approve it? I thought, FDA approved. I mean,
they don't test it. Yeah, they have to approve it, but they don't test it. They don't look at it. They don't even do one safety test. That's what Bobby and the lawsuits that they just admitted they won. Again, New Year's won the lawsuit. Yep, admitted. No testing, no nothing. Okay. So how can you make any of these claims? You don't have a single test. Show me the data. I'm a scientist. There is.
Okay, they won. They won. They got them to admit and they won. They won what? What'd they win?
Yeah, that's what we haven't figured out yet. What is the restoration? What do people get? I don't know the answer.
Yeah,
to
they
that.
go, yeah, we didn't have, you should report us to like us,
Well,
yeah,
that's why RFK Jr. and the groups are occupying Trenton. They're informing everybody that everybody's admitted it. Stop this policy.
Wow. I'm wondering I'm different. When we do our activism and everything, it's better to ask a really good question, and I just go, hey man, I just want to know this. Well, I go, really? I will go look. I mean, if you can find it, tell me. And I remember a good example of this, another issue. There was a reward. It was, I don't know, 5, 10,000, 100,000. I mean, whatever. It was a lot of money. A guy named Bob Schultz that went on the voluntariness of the income tax. And he goes, look, there is no mandate that individuals have to pay, they don't, and they're lying to you, and it's lying because they can lie. And then there was I remember it was Jackson, Sherry Jackson. She was an IRS agent. There was another guy, Joe Borman, something. Anyway, he was an IRS gun-toting enforcement agent. And a lot of these guys, they go, hey, man, that's easy money for me. I'm going to go in and find it's not there. And what happened is these guys, once they start really looking, thinking they're going to get money, they're going to get paid, they go through and they find out, yeah, they're right. There is no law requiring it, but that doesn't matter because they got guns and we make it and explain it to you and close your bank and whatever the hell they got to do. So I'm going on this issue of the vaccines and everything. I need to know what's the right questions. If I just go people, I go, hey, look, this is my experience, and I can, say all kinds of stuff and, get somebody to question themselves. But what do you think are some of the key issues that people need to know about to go check to where they can see the smoking gun?
I think the most important key issue is for a scientist and anybody else is where are the safety data? Where are the efficacy data? Where's the data that says you can inject a flu vaccine with 4 antigens and all of the mercury into one arm and Prevnar with 13 or 23 antigens in a boatload of aluminum? This is the talk. The next time you get Dr. James Lyons Weiler, he gave the talk on Sunday at this conference I was at, or this symposium I was at, on the aluminum containing vaccines. Brilliant talk on the aluminum containing vaccines and the work of Paul Thomas, a clinician who does a different schedule. So the question to ask is, where's the evidence to support that? Why would you vaccinate a pregnant woman? This is stupid.
I know, that's just dumb.
Why would you vaccinate a day-old infant with hepatitis B vaccine, what was never tested for safety in any population, much less a day-old infant who needs to develop their methylation machinery, key to protecting them from all kinds of viruses and pathogens? It's nuts. It's so crazy. And all of my scientist friends will tell me, wait a minute, and we're old. Remember, we're old. They don't vaccinate day-old babies. They don't vaccinate pregnant women. And all of a sudden, we've got a TV commercial with a pregnant woman and the child saying, and a needle going into and you're like, oh my God. And the child's patting mommy and saying how wonderful, my mommy loves me and shoots me. Mommies don't shoot the children they love. So the questions to ask is, where's the data? And there are no data. There is no study. There's nothing other than politics and money. In fact, the author of that science study said, this whole thing, immune amnesia.
All right, here, we're coming back.
On social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
Yeah, there's a lot of dirty laundry coming out. This is one thing that we did. One of the videos that I did, it's separate from the vaccine thing. I mean, it's vaccine, but that was not really my reason for doing it. True Stream Media, Melissa and Aaron Dykes do great videos. And what I had done is I came across this one, and I could see what's coming. It's an attack, because it has to be. It's an attack on the First and the Second Amendment. You're not allowed to talk about it. It's deleted, it's banned, it's, censored, whatever. And I go, and the other thing is, you're bitching about it, and we want your guns. So I'm going, it's a First and Second Amendment thing. It always comes down to a First and Second Amendment thing. Why do you think there's a First and Second Amendment? Hell, the Second Amendment's there to protect the First. So I'm just going, here we have around the country, they go, we're going to get in Virginia, they're going, take your gun. Really? I'm interested to see how this plays out. Now, to make this point, we have, when the Sandy Hook happened, we did a compilation video of about 5 videos. It was a Second Amendment thing where we had it from Second Amendment is for everyone. Safegunowners.com. Are you a safe gun owner? Are you an unsafe legislator? You know, that kind of thing. So we produced thousands we did like 5,000 DVDs and we blanketed them everywhere. We're going to do the same thing again now. And we have some vaccine ones that we're doing too, some vaccine education. Well, one of the other videos by TrueStream Media was on just the suppression of information. You're not allowed to even talk about it. They don't want a debate. They had a doctor, what's his jerk, come out and he's getting paid for by the end guy went on Joe Rogan and talking about, and we need to shut down the other side. Now he's complaining that on Amazon, on books on viruses, he's number 20 and the other 19 are antiviruses. He goes, we got to ban all those so I can be number 1. I mean, he really says this. Okay, so I'm just going, what the hell? So it's a banning of the First Amendment.
Right.
And a banning of the Second Amendment. So these are 2 discs that put in the same package that we're distributing because you got the gun guys that will definitely understand what they're doing on this because they've experienced it. Now, do they agree with whether you want a vaccine or not? That's not even the point. I'm going at it from the suppression of free speech. I'm going, don't you want it just makes you go, when they're doing a digital book burning. And I mean, this is not America. And I'm like, this is what they're having to do to be able to have a chance of them passing this crap in the state legislatures. Now, you and I, a couple of years ago, when they went, Big Pharma went to WIG, Women in Government, and offered them bribes of $1 million if they come. And what did we know what was happening? They're going to come in with mandates, and they're going to eliminate exemptions. And that's exactly what they did. And we just got a taste of it last legislative session. And they're going to hit everybody all over the place hard this legislative session. What say you?
Yeah, I think they are. That's why the Trenton March and Occupy Trenton, because it's already been happened in Washington, New York State. They've already got California removed any kind of exemption. They're vaccinating those they already injured. They're going to kill them. And that's why I brought, and so the science, it's worse than, you're talking about the censorship and not being able to find something on the internet. When Science Magazine, Nature Journal, Elsevier journals are commissioning fraud and directly paying scientists to produce studies, and then they're twisting the data like this one. The author of this study I just mentioned said, hey, this study says you should treat with antiretroviral therapy more aggressively early in HIV infection before they suffer significant damage to their immune system. Really? 28 years ago, my PhD thesis said that, and that's why Magic Johnson's alive. And he said, further studies should identify whether HIV-associated immune amnesia, there's no such thing. Your immune system doesn't forget what it never knew. And so they're linking this study with the failure of the vaccines. Because those of us who are naturally infected and got HIV, I guarantee you we don't have immune amnesia if we got antiretrovirals first. And so that's the problem before your immune system is destroyed. But they're making a non sequitur as if it's given that the vaccine developed a lasting immunity. And every piece of data shows it hasn't. And it doesn't. It is at failure. So, and they mentioned the 1.1 million people in the US. They don't want to pay for it anymore. They're just going to pay for drugs to kill them, which are called vaccines. Because the 21st, there isn't a vaccine on the schedule that works. Not a single piece of data to show it.
There is, and I would imagine that a lot of I'm showing the video from Trenton, there's a lot of people and families that know. They know this stuff. They're sharing it. They're going, and the opposition is really having an impact on the drug company's bottom line, and they're coming out and they're putting as many lab coats and guys with stethoscopes around their neck, and and their white lab coat and their sheepskin on the wall, and they're saying, hey, we got to get and mandate and have and more and pounding the desk and doing, these guys out here, they're bad and they're wrong, and to me, that's not even the issue. It's a freedom issue to where, can I be forced by my government to take a shot? You can't do that and tell me that I'm in a free country. That is just, and this informed consent standard from the freaking Nuremberg trials. Correct. This is exactly what they were doing in not Nazi Germany. And I'm going, this is so bad. And I'm wondering, are there any legislators standing? Because even here in Arizona, when we had them come to the vaccine summit, you get these, I don't know, it was up to 5 legislators, and 3 of them at least stayed, through most of the thing. One by one, they'll pull out. They'll leave. I go, because I made it clear, traitors first. Don't be saying you're going to jump in front of this parade and kind of do, and then, screw them later. Do that, you're first. Don't think you got any immunity from us if you go and you shine these young activists and these mothers on like this. I know better. This is you're on my top of my list. So,
I understood in Arizona that the bills coming out are asking for choice, and that's all we want. I don't care if you want to be injected with mercury and toxins, and you think that's the way to go. So I understand we're winning in Arizona.
They say that. It comes down to the actual. See, I'll give you an example. When we do that's why I do the Second Amendment stuff, because these guys are principled and got it, and they can apply the same kind of principle to all the other Bill of Rights. They understand that the Second is there to protect the rest of them. And so when you have someone that understands the proper role of government, and you address it in that way, they don't have to agree or disagree or not. It's a freedom thing. Am I or am I not allowed to reject an injection from the crown? That's all. Well, herd immunity and all. Well, we find that's a lie. There was no herd immunity. You don't have lasting. So now what's the next step? Well, we just need to give you like booster everything for the rest of your life and turn you into, a drooling zombie on the side of the road. I'm going, wow, this too shall pass. And what's the evidence of the people rising up and getting it? Because I don't see these legislators going, oh, yeah, well, thanks for explaining it to me. We're all good now.
Yeah, no, we need to get rid of the pharma-sponsored legislators who have nothing to do with we the people. They're not all good now, because even if they see it, like I remember in 2017, Chapitz, I think Jason or whatever in Congress, who was, we sat around a table with, 10 of us and convinced him of the plague of corruption surrounding this. And boom, he retires 2 months later. Oh yeah, I'll help you. Gone. I'm not putting my wealth and my family at risk. I'm not gonna take that bullet that Jeff Bradford, William Thompson, not William Thompson. He didn't take the bullet. He's a coward.
Now, what happened to him anyway? Here's the guy in the CDC, one of the scientists that knew, finally goes whistleblower, you're right, send me the FOIA request, I'll send you all the documents, we lied, we know, we're done. Congress wants to subpoena him. CDC says, nope, he's not going to go, and they put him in a basement for 3 years, he just collected money playing Pong.
$250,000 for 20 years after he committed these crimes and killed millions, destroyed millions of families. Yeah, $250,000 a year he's taken for sitting there keeping his mouth shut.
Wow,
I agree with you. That's the first. Tony Fauci is the first, and after that.
All right, now some guys need to.
Yeah, some guys need to go away.
They need to have an understanding, and I don't even care. I just want the freedom.
Me either. I just want the freedom.
Yeah, it's in the show. I'm not even that. That's God's job, man. Let him deal with that.
Me too. I let God deal with it, but I want my freedom. I want my family safe. I'm infected with the XMRVs. I know how to stay well.
What's XMRV? I don't even know what that means.
That's the mouse retrovirus we found, and that's 25 times HIV. That's the family of mouse retroviruses spread through vaccines in the blood supply. That's plague of corruption.
Okay.
And plague. So in plague, the first book, the invitation only meeting, whatever chapter that was, like 6 or 7, shows you that they knew the lab workers were seroconverting. I seroconvert and I make a boatload of proteins. Think I'm going to die? Yeah.
Seroconvert. What the hell is, man? See, you always use all these big trash can words, man. What?
I make antibodies to the virus. That means I've been injected and exposed.
Damn.
So vaccines don't produce lasting immunity, but that natural infection does, boy.
One thing that I wanted to get your opinion on, there was a story that somebody had a bone marrow transplant and they had their DNA tested and they had the marrow transplant's DNA.
Right. Well, that's the idea.
Well, so and it also was, it changes your DNA. You got someone else's DNA. That has to have an impact on something. I mean, it's better than dying, but I mean, damn.
Yeah, so that's what one of the big problems, and we talked about it. Dr. Rossetti and I talked about it last night, because we have patients come to us, and this is even worse than what we were talking about a minute ago as far as the revaccinating AIDS patients. But a cancer patient who gets a bone marrow transplant, they wipe out their immunity. So they use very powerful drugs and wipe out their immune system at the level of the bone marrow stem cell. And then they repopulate it with somebody else's bone marrow. So because they destroyed yours, you don't have an immune system that does autoimmunity. You don't reject the bone marrow transplant. So now you've got, like you say, everybody else's immune system. And in order to get the bone marrow transplant, the cancer patient has to agree to be fully vaccinated. You've got a brand new immune system, totally dysfunctional, and they're going to hammer you with those vaccines loaded with aluminum.
Okay, why does that have anything to do with a bone marrow transplant?
It doesn't. But it's exactly what this paper and the opinion article from Science magazine. This is the problem. It's far worse than anything. Here's our top scientific.
Yeah, no. It seems like the goal is to soft kill. How many people can we make sick, kill, something?
No, one of my dear friends was killed. One of my dear friends was killed, had literally had a stem cell transplant. The cancer was gone. He was fine, and then said, "Here we come with your vaccinations." And the cancer recurred right up, within months of the vaccinations, and he's dead. And they forced him. I mean, his wife, and you can't. And he signed a piece of paper. Oh, if you're in the clinical trial and I can't afford a $1 zillion transplant at the City of Hope. And it's like, there's nothing we can do. And this is the problem right now. So we need to have one of those cancer patients who gets that transplant says, no, I don't want the vaccinations, and have Bobby or somebody defend him in a court of law. They can't force you. They can't. I mean, they're telling people, we won't give you a life-saving treatment unless we're allowed to inject something in you later that you find against your religion or against anything else. It's just what they're doing to your children.
Yeah, we need open ocean pirate medicine to bite these guys and suck it. We go on this trip. I need to have solutions available for a lot of people. We had. I think we talked about this. It was just a month or two ago. We had one of our listeners, readers, called Donna, and said, look, we have a friend, this child they're running a high fever and they're going to be damaged. Is there some emergency we can do anti-something to save this child now while it's happening in front of us? And I don't know what to tell them. I mean, we were talking about chelation or different, I don't know. Is there anything?
Oh yeah, there are things. Vitamin A, vitamin C. Dr. Suzanne Humphreys. Some of the others. There.
Okay. Now this was what happened in American Samoa. They had the Mormon Church were sending vitamin A and vitamin C to save these kids. They forced into being vaccinated, and if you didn't get fully vaccinated, you got a red flag in front of your house. You're not quarantined. You're not allowed to leave. All this stuff's happening. A guy goes and starts administering vitamin A and vitamin C, and they arrest him.
Right. Correct.
This is terrible, and it's coming here.
Well, no, it already has come here. The FDA so quietly passed about a month ago all of these things like aloe, natural things like vitamin C, but that you could no longer compound in a compounding pharmacy. So now you can make all these dangerous drugs, and you can't make the antidotes. They know what they are. They've made the
why? This has got to be. Yeah, skip to the end. I mean, they want to kill us. I mean, what is the point?
Yes, or keep us on their drugs for zillions of dollars. You get a choice. You die. So that's what the cancer patient. You go in there and he says, okay, here's what happens with this bone marrow transplant. We're going to use these powerful chemotherapies to destroy your entire immune system. And then we're going to replace it with somebody else's immune system. And once your immune system is reconstituted, you must agree to be fully revaccinated because you've got, amnesia. No, it's not amnesia. You just destroyed the immune system. And this is the point. Yeah, and now if they don't agree to that, what would you say if you had cancer? You're going to say, okay, I'll get the bone marrow transplant, and I'm really worried about this vaccine because then I'm going to suffer for years while it all starts over again, and the cancer comes back and it's worse because my immune system's dysfunctional. I'm in all this pain, and they pump me full of all these drugs. I'm all swollen and I die.
Okay,
and that's what happened to my friend.
This is what I need your help with.
Okay.
We're producing thousands of these various different DVDs for stuff, and there are activists around the country. A lot of Irene and Earlene and Kelly Gallagher and these guys we're working with, and they give us addresses and we'll send them out. I've yet to get any addresses to actually they're working on different groups and how they want it labeled and inserted. I don't care. So we're just mass producing whatever they want, and we'll send them wherever. You have some activists or groups around the country, like in New Jersey. You give me a contact, send me an email of who these people. I got resources for them.
Okay.
So send me where to send, 100 here, 200 there, 500, whatever. They can distribute these. I got goodies for them.
Okay. Sounds good.
Waiting on you now.
All right.
Because,
we'll make it happen.
Well, Tony Marie's got on this thing. She's like, I'm in, let's do it. She had Donna and I, we went up to a meeting, and they're just like, we want you to do for the vaccine issue what you did for the Levolution. And I go, all right, I'm in. We're hitting the road. I told you about that, right?
Right, you did.
So I mean, here we go. And we're going to be taking a lot of our stuff with. This is going to be a thing. You think your doctors are in trouble. I don't know what somebody's going to come explain it to me. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's very difficult because it's very difficult to explain to the doctors, and that's why.
Don't care. I'm past that. Now, that's one thing that one of the discs that Kelly and Tony Marie did. That's what it's for. It is kind of. There was a woman. I can't remember her name. She in Africa gives a lot, and she was advocating that the oral live polio vaccine demonstrates, and because you got a real live vaccine, that it demonstrates an increase in your immune system, but these other ones, you have 5 times more likelihood that you're going to die, So it wasn't she was anti-vaccine, but she was pro the oral vaccine. What's your thought on that?
Well, the oral vaccine, again, it demonstrated more immunity, but it also demonstrated or showed more toxicity. So yes, there was more immunity or more lasting immunity, but they stopped the oral polio vaccine because it was so dangerous. Just like they stopped the flu mist a few years ago, said, "Oh, we don't need that." The flu vaccine you spray up your nose, it was killing healthy kids, and we won one of those cases in vaccine court. And that's the royal we when I talk, because I never won anything because vaccine court's so fucking corrupt. They make, sorry.
Well, sometimes you need the word. See, that's one of the pushbacks I'm getting, because what they wanted to depict is that we're not necessarily anti-vaccine, just anti-stupidity, that kind of thing.
I'm not anti-vaccine, and I've said it before on your show. I spent my entire life. What is the thesis of my entire life? We can develop. We can educate the immune system with natural products, with drugs, with other things to prevent or treat chronic disease and cancer and infectious disease like AIDS.
Yeah, but you can't make money on that.
But that's immune therapy. That's vaccines. So a vaccine is immune therapy because what it's intended to do is prevent or ameliorate, lessen, or treat chronic disease and cancer. It's a memory response. You can't call me anti-vax. I know how to make a safe vaccine. We can make a safe vaccine. They don't want to because that's not the goal. Because if you show them you can make a measles vaccine that works, what you're going to get, and that produces lasting memory, that's a lawsuit for all the damage they know they've done for 50 years. And they know it since 1963. Come on, it doesn't work. That's what that article here shows. The vaccine failure. They've admitted and they just cover it all up. And even, and they twist the science, they retract the science, they cover up the science, and they persecute or kill the scientists who won't back down, and or the doctors who won't back down. And that's where we are. And so we're at a place, we're at a revolution point in our country where all we can do is save the people who are willing to listen. If you, and that's the freedom that you advocate, Ernie, and that's why I do this show, because it's my choice. This is my constitutional, more than that, it's my God-given right to decide what to eat, what to smoke, how to exercise, what to inject, what to expose myself to. I made a choice to go into research, to work with Ebola, to work with HIV, knowing full well I could get infected. I knew the risk just like a firefighter who runs into a building. And I chose to do this. But your 2-month-old baby doesn't deserve that, or your grandmother who did nothing. And that's why my grandmother never got a vaccine. She got diphtheria. She lived to 94. She was never in the hospital once until they took her champagne away from her. And then she died of a pneumonia because she no longer fermented. So now we're taking away the natural foods, the whole foods. We're destroying that with GMOs. We're lining the skies with God only knows what, chemtrails of aluminum and pathogens. We still have the tape of Ian Lipkin, 10 years ago saying, "Oh yeah, we put chlamydia in the sky. Oh yeah, we put it on that little pellet. They're putting infectious," and then he backed it off, but I'm sure they deleted it out of the thing. But every one of us at Stanford heard it. They admit these things and then they cover it all up and they republish it or they retract, the big, oh my God, when our study came out, when they realized the magnitude of 25 times that 1.1 million HIV infected people that the economy, that the people of America support because the government spread it around and admitted it through the contaminated blood supply. That's what we learned with Arthur Ashe, Ryan White, Magic Johnson, how to fix it. And so this is, we need a revolution. We want a peaceful revolution, fine, but you're not coming into my house. I'm not giving up my shot, to quote Hamilton, the musical.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up my shot. I've got my syringe. Come anywhere near me. I'm not giving up my guns. You cannot force me to take a shot or I don't get a driver's license.
Yeah, this is, I mean, what is your thought on, see, this is, it kind of naturally came when there was a, are you at a computer?
Yes. I'm almost always at a computer.
Yeah, go to, do me a favor, go to truthstreammedia.com.
Okay, got it.
Okay, they have a search on this somewhere. Yeah, on the right side, right below where it says Minds of Men, there's a search thing there. And just put in free speech. I bet it'll come up. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, what's this guy's name? Free speech and shutting down the vaccine debate. Do you see that?
Right.
Okay, now that guy in the bow tie there is Dr. What's his jerk? Let's see, what is it? Peter Hotez. Does that ring a bell?
No.
Peter Hotez has been kind of the tapped in guy that's coming all in 19. He's funded by Bill and Melinda Gates stuff, and he's bow tie doctor says this about that, and he was the one that wrote the book that he's claiming that all the other anti-vax books need to be stricken from the internet and need a digital book burning, and all of the videos in the name of public health should be censored. And this is, so they did, how long is this video? It's at least an hour. Yeah, it's 58 minutes. This whole video is not even really about the vaccine issue. It's a suppression of the First Amendment on the vaccine issue.
Right.
And I brought down the MP4 of this, and I created a DVD that has this and Dr. Needis's, the guy from the former director of the Cleveland Clinic, and what happened to him. And I go, this free speech suppression, this is how it's manifested. Here's a guy that's director of the famous, freaking wellness center of the yada, yada, yada. And he questioned vaccines even a little bit after he had a bad experience. And he just said, we question, and you're fired.
Right.
And I'm going, whoa. I go, this and that. These two issues, these two videos, these two videos are put together in the free speech portion to go with the Second Amendment gun rights issue. So I put those in the packet. Now, who's distributing those? The Second Amendment guys. They're, so I'm kind of, infecting them with this issue. I go, look, it's the same thing. The Second Amendment is there to defend your free speech rights. Even one, talk about it, and oh my God, I don't want the shot. So this is what, one of the discs I'll get, send Donna addresses that we can send this stuff. We need to get it out right now. I got a bunch. I got thousands of these. We're ready to ship. So, and we're doing more today, and I start distributing them tomorrow here in Arizona.
Okay, great. I'll get some.
Now, Monday is the State of the State address in the beginning of our state legislative session. When I do this, these DVDs, they go in the parking garages, parking lots. They go to the interns, the receptionists, secretaries, the departments of every level of government. I get off the elevator, put a little 5-6 stack on the count, peace out, this is for you, walk out, go next. And by next week when the legislative session started, everybody already has got it. I go, legislator, you don't want to do your due diligence? You don't care. But everybody around knows what a scumbag piece of crap you are. So I just want to make sure everybody knows. So this is how I roll. So we'll go ahead and do that. And it's that you've been down. Here's a picture of you guys down at the Capitol there. That's where we're going. And it's nice weather. It's going to be awesome. Okay. Yeah, I see Alan Palmer there. He's been getting a lot on a lot of stuff. He's definitely. They're not going to win this one. This is not going to go well for them.
No, this is not going to go well for them.
And I just, you guys, you thought I was kidding. Well, here it comes tomorrow. You want the story. The sun will come out tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and show some sun. Now the other DVD is a little bit more. It does start off with the promotion as a better alternative in Africa, the oral live polio vaccine, and saying that this other stuff's crap, but this might be better because
it's really bad. It's really bad. I need to get that one. We're just going to go back over to Africa and kill them. I need to get you the data that show that.
It's not me. I'm part of. They wanted to, kind of, and I whatever they want to, not my, I help and whatever, but the and then they have another doctor on it that was the family-friendly vaccinations out of Portland or something. There was a guy.
Right, that's Dr. Thomas. So that's where you need to talk to Jack Lyons-Weiler again. Have him on the show because he talked about that on Sunday, and it was fabulous, the data. If you just could get that PowerPoint, because there are things we can do. There are friendlier, safer ways to do this.
Well, I mean, are you saying that the what is the name? Give me the names on that first disc, Donna. Yeah, Christine Stable Ben. Is that you recognize that name?
That name doesn't ring a bell.
Well, she did a TED Talk on. She starts off. The best thing you can do for your child is give them an oral polio vaccine.
No, that's horrible. Yep, that's the worst thing you can do for your child. There's been 10 cases of polio in this country in 3 decades. No. The worst thing you can do is touch your child with something they're never going to be exposed to that's dangerous. Go ahead, and that's the whole chapter 5 of my book, The Oral Polio Vaccine, plaguethebook.com. The very first book, chapter 5, where does MECFS and autism come from? Oh, the retroviruses you spread through the oral polio vaccine.
See, we need to work on. Yeah, my thing is, I don't even have to get into science. It's the mandates for me.
Right, exactly. Nothing, no one, no mandate. If you decide you think you need that, go for it, but no mandates.
Okay.
The science supports nothing. The science only says that every single vaccine is either untested or dangerous. The dangerous is clear. With the oral polio vaccine, not only caused polio in 7% of the people who took it, but it caused MECFS, chronic fatigue syndrome, that horrible name, myalgic encephalomyelitis, inflammation of the brain and spinal cord, and multiple sclerosis, you name it.
All right. Here, Donna wanted to say something. What?
The third video on that compilation DVD is Paul Thomas Vaccine Friendly Plan. So he apparently is on there.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
It's something that shows the schedule is dangerous. Because when you switch the schedule, he doesn't have any autistic kid in his very large...
Well, on that particular video, it has him. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Christine Stabile-Ben is advocating for oral polio vaccine. Then you have the deposition of that one guy, what's his name, Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System, VAERS, so they talk about that for a few minutes. Then Paul Thomas, Vaccine Friendly Family, whatever. And, that guy, Stanley Plotkin, okay?
The guy that lied about all the fetal tissue?
Yeah, there's a couple of...
Dr. Vaccine Man?
Right, there's
Mr.
a couple...
Criminal atheist, whatever he is, God himself.
Yeah, so we have a couple of segments...
Yeah, I know him.
All right, we have a couple of segments of him, talking about aluminum in it. And at the attorney that did that deposition was at the Vaccine Education Summit and got to spend some time with him. So then of course, Dr. Needus, his speech that he gave, which I thought was good. And then Dr. Abbey is a data scientist out of Africa.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah.
So Dr. Abbey, but that was kind of clinical and boring and kind of like talking to you. But but it's like, but the first one, this Christine Stabile-Ben, starting off with a TED Talk saying the first thing out of her mouth is that the best thing you can do with your kid is, give them an oral polio vaccine. And I don't know what kind of, pushback that'll get, and because I think what they were trying to do is Kelly and Tony Marie was looking to not be perceived as anti-vaccination. That was their point. Is that, look, we're not anti-vax, we're just anti being stupid and killing people. And I thought that one had some relevance or something, so maybe we need you to talk to some people. But
yeah, if you drop ship it to me, I'll look at it, or email it to me. Whatever.
Well, I can tell you, that it's do the search on her. Just go TEDx Christine Stabell Ben, Stabell, and the last name Ben, Benn.
Okay, I probably won't do it now.
But I'm getting ready to ship a bunch, man, before I start making thousands more. I mean, if you want to have an impact on this.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it now.
Because that's the lead off of this video, and the first thing out of it is, best thing you can do is oral polio.
TED Talks are, forget that stuff.
Yeah, that's whatever. But
that's planned by, we know CNN garbage. The oral polio vaccine did, that is chapter 5 of our book. So I would say no, but let me try to look at a TED Talk here.
Does it come up?
I haven't been able to get my computer. Okay, so you said TEDx?
TEDx Christine Stabell Ben, STABELLBENN.
Okay.
Because I get your feedback on that, and then the other one that we're putting up along with on the it's a First Amendment thing along with the Second Amendment deal is that TrueStream Media one. You'll like that one. That's kick ass. But that's kind of how I roll. But I can understand this is the mindset. The question is, did you do your due diligence? And it's like these legislators. I mean, do you really know? Or you're just doing what the 3x5 card that came in the envelope with the cash from Big Pharma. I mean, they don't care. They're just how many little babies can we kill? And I'm just this is so they're trying to. It's kind of you go to the medical schools or you at the hospitals, maternity wards, you're passing this out. Look, it's not anti-vax. We got a vaccine friendly, family friendly guy. We got this, we got that, and we just want you to kind of question a little bit and that role at but I don't want to. We should have got your input earlier.
Well, I'll look at it because. The title of it, I found it. It says how the vaccines train the immune system in ways no one expected. Well, that's not actually, it's how natural infections train the immune system in ways no one expected.
Watch the video for me. It's not very long. It's only like 10 minutes. And if you watch that, I'd like to, because I don't want to do more damage than we're...
Right.
But I need to know like today because we're assembling thousands now.
I'll watch
and I can focus on some of the others while we're redoing the labels on this and so on.
If you could, can you reach out to Jack Lyons-Weiler?
Sure.
Or Michelle Ford.
For what?
The talk he gave on Sunday. It was taped.
Okay. Donna, send an email to James and ask him for his Sunday talk. You need to write it down. Just open up the thing.
And see if he can get the video of it for your CD, because that's fabulous. And he goes on and on about, hey, I'm not anti-vax. And he discusses that right there. Here's what we do. I'd replace this one with that one, but it's an hour long. It's not just 10 minutes. Well, I don't know what. Yeah. But at any rate, it was a fabulous talk, and he did all the issues you're talking right now. In fact, I wanted to write him and say, I haven't seen you do it better. He's good, and this one was fabulous.
Okay, now let me I've got him up. Donna got a call, and then she'll forget, and it'll never happen. Okay, so what's the event he was at Sunday?
It was UCLA. I did text Donna the link. I texted it to her yesterday before I got to my email because we moved over the weekend, so I didn't have a computer for a few days.
Okay, I mean, if you got this available.
So there was a link I texted Donna that said RFK and Jack Lyons Weiler. And it was fabulous, just fabulous. He did such a good job of talking about Paul Thomas's work from a scientist's point of view.
It's in the archive page.
Okay, she's got it in the archive page.
Okay.
You know, in the archive on here. Vaccine, medical experimentation via vaccine proof was a Brighteon thing. See, this is one of the reasons why we're doing a lot of the storage of the data the way we are. And right now, Derek is redoing every single article, like 400,000 of them that we're doing on the data on Freedom's Phoenix going to this interplanetary file sharing thing, and it's taken like 2 weeks. It'll be like next week before it finishes download, just so we have this stuff forever. Because when I see something Brighteon videos, and I'm going, yeah, you know, they're supposed to be the YouTube killer or the alternative to, and we got it up. But when the Christchurch shooting happened in New Zealand, they took any reference down because they were threatened, and I'm going. Threatened by what? Well, they, them, those of you're not allowed and you won't have access to. And I'm going, if you're under that kind of control, then the vaccine thing isn't safe there. You know, that's one of the top things. Hell no, you're not allowed. So there has to be an overwhelming avalanche of, and that's why we're doing these DVDs, is because they're cheap. It comes with a little envelope. You can put whatever in. The activists can distribute them and put their local whatever, I don't care. And it is something that can't be censored. It's passed hand to hand, and they can replicate it and pass more. We're going old school. It's signs on bridges kind of crap. And I go, if you really want to play this game, you want to try and control, because what we were beaten before was the newspapers, the traditional media, the networks. When we were doing all this street activism in the 90s and the 2000s and kind of stuff, it was because the traditional media, we buy ink by the barrel and we could do whatever. We don't, screw you. You confuse me with someone who gives a crap what you want. We're going to go ahead and do it on the internet. Then those same people took over the internet. They came in with their search engines. They came in with Facebook. They came in with YouTube. They came in and they go, and you're not allowed. Okay. We've already done this before. You guys want to rock? You want to play? We're going to the streets. And I got a bus. And then what do they do? I don't know. But I better have a healthy immune system, because they're going to, have some plague or something. They're going to be smearing my, doorknob with whatever, So and I'm a nose picker. So, I'm going to get infected. So this is, we got to keep our health up. We got to be, smart about this, and we got to have that, Second Amendment protected. So I understand what I'm getting into. I get it.
So what she writes here, Ernie, in the abstract of this, it says, Christine argues that we should not only study vaccines' effects on the target infection, but also ask the often ignored questions. Now, we haven't studied anything. Let's just start there. And ask the ignored question, what's the impact of vaccines on overall health? Well, that's exactly what James Lyons Weiler and Paul Thomas did. And so the IPAC, the Institute for Pure and Applied Knowledge, went back and looked at DTaP, the vaccine, and what its effect of overall health. And that's the Paul Abbey study. And Paul Abbey fills into all of this, and he shows the impact of overall health is, if you get Tdap, you're 5 times more likely to die of all things before you're whatever year old or in your whole life. So in fact, those studies have been done. So you can kind of leave this up and forget the oral polio, because if that's what she's really asking, we don't give the oral polio vaccine anymore because it hurts so many people that it could have benefit in hugely sick people in Africa, certainly not America. I'll watch this and say, but in fact, that's exactly what Jack's talk and Paul Thomas's project and a paper that was published in January. So if you can get that on your CD now, you can leave this there because you can go on to say.
Well, we're into it. Beginning of the legislative session, we're ready to ship and do and whatever.
Okay.
But I'm uncomfortable with, it's not my thing. I mean, I'm here to facilitate everybody else's do what they want. I'm the yes guy. I'm not going to micromanage this stuff. I don't want to be micromanaged. I'm not going to micromanage. They want to, pass out and do, and that I'd like to get your input on it because I know, Tony Marie, your influence. She's influenced by your opinion, but I understand what she's doing. The idea is they want to definitely take that anti-vax argument away from them. That's the point.
And that's great because that.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure it's. You're not, contradicting yourself. I mean, you got this cognitive dissonance of this and that. The same, So
no, I'm not because it says in her talk, Christine argues that we should not only study vaccines' effects on the target infection, but ask the often ignored question, what is the impact on overall health? And that's what we are saying. That's what Jack said.
Well, that's what she was saying. She was saying that the overall health, the oral polio vaccine is demonstrated to increase on a bunch of other levels because it's a live vaccine. It makes you healthier and a stronger immune system later.
No, it makes Africans healthier. And they have unclean water, and they don't have good food and sanitation. They didn't say Americans; it said Africans.
Okay.
So in places where these things are a serious problem, but in the United States of America, is that true? But that's what Jack and Paul Thomas are saying. Let's ask those questions. So Tony Marie's not wrong there. So I'm not. Her thesis that we should do this is not different from what Paul, Jack, me were saying. You need to
see, there's a little bit of caveat in there that I need to know so that when people, press on me on this kind of stuff, that I can say, look, she's talking about, the hygiene levels in Africa, and you have not only a different race, but you have a different physical environment, that this is very well have increased their immune system and they do better with this, and you got risk. But still, there should be the freedom to, I don't want to have to, But in America, because we have better hygiene and better health care and so on, that...
and no polio.
I'm sorry?
The only polio in America is the polio we cause.
Yeah.
I want to just keep saying that. The vaccines caused.
Yeah.
The only polio in America, and that was in that paper I submitted to you from Mike Hugo at the ACIT meeting early in February of this year. It said from the beginning, the only polio, and I'll send it back to Donna so you can read it again. The only polio in this country is the polio we caused. And they call it acute flaccid myelitis right now, right? They won't let you call it polio because it's a different strain of virus. So now we have to protect them against all the strains of polio because other polios or other enteroviruses.
Oh, God, how did humanity survive? Oh, my God.
Without vaccines. Oh, my God. You ask my grandmother. She's great. 94 years old, nothing. We had strong immune systems when we ate real food and we didn't expose ourselves to aluminum and mercury and GMOs and glyphosate and chemtrails and fluoride in the water and 5G, taking that metal you just put in your brain and waking it up so you have a battery in your freaking head every day.
if they can. All right, please take a look at those two. The TED thing is short, and hopefully you'll be able to.
I'll do it in 5 minutes. I just had another call or.
Yeah, I hope you can, and I don't want you. Yeah, I mean, if it might flow well with, we got the.
I think it does flow well if this is her thesis.
Yeah.
She's an example that's not the reality in the U.S., but she's saying what we're trying to say everywhere. What is natural?
I see what they're doing with this approach. They're trying to eliminate the anti-vaccine label assuming that I give a crap whether they say you're anti-vaccine. I don't care. I'm just pro freaking freedom. But she's trying to eliminate that because she thinks that's a barrier to these doctors. Because what a lot of it is happening is the doctors in the medical industry, because they're so sold this through medical school, through propaganda, through everything, that they, got their cross up and keep the vampires away of whatever other anti-vaxxers. If you take that arrow out of their quiver, you're not that, then you can go to the next level of what are they talking about. That is what I think is going on here. But that is for the medical schools and the politicians and some people of the profession, something that they're not being advocated to go to jail and all should be shot. Because I think that's what the fear is that, oh my goodness, if this is true, what we've done, there's going to be a lot of pissed off parents, and the doctors that have to, oh no, these guys are tinfoil hat. They don't know what they're talking about. And that's all BS because all they were doing is just reading the 3x5 card from Pfizer, So I can understand the power of this, but I like the other one also, especially with these Second Amendment guys, because it's the same thing. It is a restriction on your freedoms. It is You're not allowed to say no, and you're not allowed to defend against your no. And this I'm going, whoa, when have we seen this before? This is bad. And then you got what's going on in Virginia and the sanctuary counties and all that kind of stuff. So I'm concerned. This is Donna and I are kind of can't go fast enough for us to get packed, get everything ready to go and hit the road and save lives. Before it was how many minds could you save, and that equates to life saving too. But this is direct. This is how many babies can you get saved from and inoculating pregnant women? And then when they go and you're having a baby, it's like a god dang freaking the sales thing. They have the nurse comes in to the waiting room and you got, 10 to 20 people in there and they go, oh, who's the baby loving, baby holding baby? You get your pertussis shots because you're baby lovers. And I'm like, libertarian. Oh, never mind. And they leave. That libertarian word must have some kind of kryptonite to these guys or something, because they just know hell no. Do you really want to have this discussion? It's like the TSA guy going, now this is a safe. Oh, seriously? You want to hear the whole thing? That's what I thought. So that's where we want to hit have an impact. Just a little bit of they're not doing good. So I can see. So go ahead and take a look at those two for me, will you please, and get back to me to just send me a quick note or text or something, because we're head down plowing there making them.
Okay, I'll do it right now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Judy. It seems like it's the end of the beginning. I mean, we're getting the lines are drawn.
It's going to be a busy year. You and I are both going to be on the road, huh?
I've already. It's filling up. There's that go, well, how will you know where to go? I go, trust me, you're going to go help, you're going to get filled up. Don't worry about it. I'm already filled up. So it will be fine. We got plenty to do. But hopefully we'll, we're going to, positive waves. Dr. Judy Mikovits, thank you very much for all your help.
Thanks, Ernie. No problem.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Take care.
You too.